Good evening and welcome to the third round of the Australasian Sim Racing Development Series from the streets of Hamilton. Once again, joining myself, Lewis Wedding, in the commentary box is Kane Gray, aka NZ Snipes, for tonight's proceedings. Snipes, back in your home country, streets of Hamilton. How do you see tonight playing out, and how are you, first of all?
Kia ora, good evening. Hey, Lewis. Hi, everyone. I'm pretty damn fine, honestly, this evening. I'm excited to be racing the streets of Hamilton. I like this circuit. I think it's a nifty one. It certainly is going to offer challenges. Where we saw Symmons Plains, perhaps the field be quite tight and compressed, I'm expecting to see a lot more field spread from this evening, but hopefully some interesting racing to boot.
Yeah, so if one does take a look at live races, there is a link below in the description there with all your live timing needs. You'll see, top 50 laps by all the drivers. Quite a bit of field spread, as he said, and I am expecting there to be quite a lot of it. There is a lot of risk versus reward around the majority of street circuits, maybe outside of Albert Park, which is, for the most part, not really a street circuit. It may be classified as one, but for the most part, at least the older layout anyway, with the walls for the most part being a fair way away, it's not too much of a street circuit feel. But this is quite different to what the drivers have been running at the season so far. Of course, opening at Albert Park and then round 2 at Symmons Plains. Different challenge for these drivers, Snipes. As we've both mentioned, that we do expect there to be field spread, but one thing I do expect, or maybe not expect, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me. I reckon we may see one of the front runners at that triple chicane on the quote-unquote back straight. I reckon we're going to see someone bite the wall by just being a little bit too aggressive chasing after someone and having a monster shunt.
Yeah, it's an easy place on the circuit to have an accident, that much is for sure. The triple chicane, its bumps are a bit higher this year than they were a couple of years ago when ASR came here. It was AMS Oz back then. And it's a challenge to go through now and maintain your speed. It's certainly very unstable after the third one, so it's very easy to just lose your rear end a little bit and just straight into the fence.
Yeah, that's one of the tricky portions of the circuit. It is a lot of fun to sort of bounce over them at speed, but there are a couple corners, particularly in the first sector, Snipes, that are also quite bumpy. It was the first circuit we've been to this season that the bumps are going to challenge the drivers, and we may see drivers just out on their own, losing on the bumps coming out of corners, as well as I think we may see one or two people just dropping on the exit of corners because... I think this is the second hard tyre round of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong there, actually. I may be wrong, but...
I believe we're on softs at this point in
softs,
time.
yeah.
But you are correct. It is a bumpy circuit. We are on the streets of Hamilton here. And turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 at the roundabout, all of those corners are a little bit bumpy at points. So it can certainly be challenging to get on the power, particularly out of turn 2. There's a bump very late on in the corner where you would typically be getting on the gas.
Yeah, so we do have the track map now up on your screen with some relevant information, of course. 3 races this evening, 13 corners this street track provides. Lap record being a 121.1 and the race lap record of 121.1 as well, although the qualifying lap record just a smidge faster. Both set in 2020, of course, the only time we've run the circuit, but this circuit is different. That back chicane featuring different curbing as well as the not racing line per se, but the track limits have been readjusted and fixed since we last raced here. So slightly different challenge, but 99% of the layout is the same. And big challenges with the bumps at turn 2. Picking a braking point for turn 1 can be difficult, and the bumps through turns 3 and 4 as well will be something to look out for. Of course, 3 races, 25-minute time limit. That is, of course, if we have multiple safety cars. Hopefully we do not see multiple safety cars, and 13 laps for each of the races tonight. And I am seeing in the live chat here some big breaking news that Ben Hall won't be partaking in qualifying due to some internet issues. So, a bit of a shame there for Ben Hall, but it's going to provide us some very interesting opening stanza here, Snipes.
Starting from the back, and you're the championship leader. So that is always going to provide an interesting story into this round here, not being able to qualify. Nathan Higginson will be licking his lips. It'll be a chance for him to get out front, establish a lead, and potentially take a good round win. That's what he will be lining up, knowing that news. A bit devastating for Hall. He's been on fire and he's looked very, very quick here too. A quick point of interest in this circuit I've found is turn 11. I think you're going to see drivers making mistakes there. It's very late in the course. It's just after a big weight transfer in the car, and it can be very easy just to go a bit deeper into the fence there in turn 11. So I think we'll see possibly some mistakes around there too.
Yeah, so they're just looking at Steve Warwick. Still a couple minutes left in the practice session. Drivers just getting back out there to get their heads in the game. Qualifying not too far away. So Snipes, just take a look at Steve Warwick here and just point out which is going to be the tricky one for the drivers here.
Coming up here, that's through turn 10. Now we're coming into the brakes. This is 11 here. Now it's really, really easy to get wrong that corner. You're coming off a really off a weight transfer in the car where it's very easy to lock up or go deep, and then the corner's quite tight and you really want to hit that curb to pull you around it, but that curb's right by the wall, so it's very easy to bump that or just miss the curb, go wide into the fence by carrying a little bit too much speed.
Yeah, that will be something to look out for in qualifying and the races. But we'll stick with Steve Warwick for the moment. He's got Nathan Higginson trying to chase him down here in the practice session. Couple minutes remaining, and as you can see, a couple changes of surface there from tarmac to concrete back to tarmac again. It is bumpy, and there you see the cars bouncing over that curb there to just prior to the carousel. It's another one that's going to be a little bit tricky for the drivers, particularly Super 2 or Development Series drivers, because can't adjust the setup in these cars in this series, so they have to make do with what they've got.
Yeah, they're stuck with what they have in the series, and that can lead to some problems that you have to learn to get around. So a feature of the circuit without being able to adjust the stock setup will be slightly warmer brakes than you'd like to have. Also, so drivers will want to be careful hitting one of the couple of heavy braking zones, namely turn 1 and turn 2. That's where the problems could really happen if a driver's not careful under brakes. But yeah, this will present some challenges for these drivers. For some of these drivers, I imagine they would have never experienced this circuit before. Perhaps the likes of Laszlo Taglas, Christian Alvarez, who are obviously from over in Europe there. So experiencing a circuit like Hamilton, which would be much more niche, let's say, versus your Bathurst, etc., might present a really, really big challenge for these people.
Yeah, not a really...
See how they step up to it. Sorry to cut up. It'll be really good to see how they step up to it. I think Laszlo's been reasonably impressive early. Yeah,
it's not a really well-known circuit. Of course, it was run on the Supercars calendar for about 5 or 6 years. And outside of the version that we got our hands on in R-Factor, it's not really been seen in any other sim or game since. I do think though that one of them, I can't recall which one it was, they have driven it in R-Factor 2, but of course that'd be a little bit different, both car handling wise and possibly where some of the walls and curbing is as well, so not a straight like for like. But did see on our screen for a moment one of the drivers falling foul there at turn 11, just as he called it. He actually turned in too early. I think that may have been Justin Cecil, just turned in too early, clipped the wall on the inside, which is a feature for a number of the corners around the circuit, where you can take, particularly in the last sector, a lot of curbing because it's practically flat, and you want to keep the momentum up, and it's very easy to get a little bit too greedy and wipe out not one side but both sides of the car, because you hit one side of the wall and then just careen out of control into the other. So we've got Nathan Higginson now up 2/10 on his own time and on Lockie Lock. He was not far away from setting a personal best before as he bounces over those curves at the chicane.
I question whether that will be a track cut. It looked mighty close on the second chicane. It's certainly a fine line between getting it right and wrong here. It's very easy to get a track cut, but the line you have to take to go fast is a risky one. Limited room to get it wrong.
And it doesn't look like he's got a track cut, but he definitely lost time. As we see Phil D up into third place now. To the drivers' eye and their game, they're not going to have. He's actually updated his livery if we can find him out on the circuit, but no, he's in the pits at the moment. So we're waiting until qualifying, but he's changed to the old green-eyed monster that's been done and redone a million times in every sim on every Ford Falcon that's ever been made. But just moments away here from qualifying. And yeah, it was just sent a message earlier that I didn't quite catch from Brendan Ross, just saying that they were going to run the session out, just to let people who were having issues back into the game. So that's why I haven't ticked over, I think, 4 or 5 minutes ago, but currently 17 drives in the server at the moment, but we do expect there to be, I think 20 was seen earlier on in the practice session. That said, though, Snipes, a bit of a smaller field this week, which it's a bit of a shame to see there not be as big a grid, but at the same time, around a street circuit like this, where there's quite a chance of carnage and, you know, drivers being caught out by being blindsided by walls, it could also be a good thing.
Yeah, honestly, it is scary to be at the back in one of these races going through the chicane, particularly if you have an average qualifying. So having less cars to have to navigate through that first lap or two's worth of traffic is definitely ideal. But you know, while it is a shame to have a few people not here tonight, it's still great to see, honestly, what is a good turnout. 17 cars on track is, and it will be closer to 20. We've seen closer to 20 on the server. Is a fantastic effort, well and truly enough to make plenty of enjoyable racing. Bit of field spread. Darren Lockland in Super 3 has a really interesting chance tonight to push further forward in the Super 3 pack, noting at least currently the absence of Mike Coulston and also no Cracker as of yet. So interesting proposition for Super 3 tonight.
Yeah, so I've not heard much from Cracker, but I do know that Mike Coulston is had a change of life position, I guess, and he'll be at least for the next couple of weeks he's going to be a little bit occupied and won't be able to make the next few races, I don't think. So a bit of a shame for him, because he was looking really, really handy in Super 3. He's also beating a number of Super 2 drivers as well, so he was looking really good out there. And of course Cracker's also been a front runner, so big chance for the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 Super 3 drivers currently in the field to rack up their first wins, or second in, I think Darren Lockland picked up a win at Symmons Plains of the season. And drivers now going out onto the circuit or qualifying.
Everyone's been caught napping a little bit. Higginson's got himself a sizable gap between himself and the next person in the train. So that's great for Nathan Higginson. Plenty of time to warm his tyres, which he's doing. He's at the chicane, and people still aren't turned 3 yet. So that's he's got a fair chunk of distance before anyone. He'll be getting the first lap in tonight.
Certainly will be, but you never know. There might be a bit of traffic that comes out a bit late that could make it a bit awkward for him. You just never know.
You'll be hoping for a clear run for sure. Don't want to have too much traffic coming out of the pit lane as you're trying to go fast. But lots of cars on circuit at this point too. So
he's just backed off a bit here in the last sector. Which another note that these drivers have to take into consideration as well is that the ambient temperature is quite low. Obviously, Hamilton, not the warmest place in the world. And that's also translated into the track temperature as well. So we've only got 18 degrees track temp, which means the tyres aren't going to get overly hot. So these guys do have to, as we've got Steve Warwick leaving the pits right as Nathan Higginson starts his lap, but gets out of the way. Track temperature will be a little bit of an issue, particularly on this first lap if you don't get those tyres nice and warm.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're also reasonably limited with the lack of brake ventilation that you've got there. Your brakes have realistically one good lap before they're starting to overheat reasonably consistently, and therefore you lose a little bit of performance. So there'll be a little bit of pressure to put out a reasonable lap early. It's not that you can't put out a good lap afterwards, but I feel that this first lap's your best shot to put a good time on the board.
So that will be something to look out for. Higginson 29.7 in the first sector, currently purple over those that have set a time. Lucky Lock at 29.8 so far. Higginson 54.782 as he goes through.
He's the wall.
Has glanced the wall there. Could just pick it up with the audio. Hasn't cost him too much time. But certainly would have thrown him a little bit out of the rhythm, right out sideways on the exit, and now the run to the start finish line, and it will be a 1 minute 23.3, so not an ideal start to his qualifying session. Of course, the faster drivers in the sort of upper midfield, and faster drivers in the 22s, and the really fast drivers in the very low 22s and 21s, of which there's only Hall and Higginson that have touched that in practice, but got Lucky Lock to the top 23.0, so a rather subdued start to this qualifying session.
Yeah, it seems we're getting just a bank of laps, and Higginson's lost it into the roundabout there. There'll be yellows, but he'll quickly reset back. Yeah, we're getting bank of laps early on, it seems. Just trying to get down to time, which is actually important. It's very easy to lose your lap at the chicane. Chicane is super easy to get wrong, and when you do get it wrong, you will lose your lap. So just getting a lap time down is good first and foremost before you look to push on that.
And speaking of the Super 3 class a little bit early on, Darren Lockland with his chances, well, he's gone P5 overall. 11 drivers have set a lap time, and currently the hottest Super 3 driver on circuit by a bit of a margin. Got a couple drivers out there going quite quickly. Got Lucky Lock purple in the first sector, and he's actually matched the second sector time. It gets a wiggle on, and that's gonna, well, he's also run wide, so that's gonna cost him time. And Matt Cecil's actually gone purple in the middle sector, but his first sector's actually maybe in a personal best, but it's actually quite average. As Steve Warwick, purple final sector, goes to P3. Lucky Lock, though, will go to the line and try to go to P1. But he does not improve. In fact, he may have picked up a track cut as well on that lap in the second sector.
Donald to P3. 23.5. It's a reasonable lap time.
It's a solid lap time, but I think the overall lap time just isn't there for a number of drivers. 3 drivers sharing a purple sector, with Lucky Lock fastest in the first, Matt Cecil fastest in the second, and Steve Warwick fastest in the third, as Cheese now goes into position 2. His home circuit, and Lucky Lock has gone personal best in the first sector, but not purple.
Need to get through the chicane reasonably alright.
And now through the corner where Wincup, I think it was in 2008, ended up.
Got his lights on, it's on here. He's 2.5 tenths up to the back. Sorry to cut you off there, Lewis. It's a real flowing section. You want to get it right, getting close to the wall there to get it straight for the brakes. Down, beautiful. That was really nice through there, but he got a wiggle and touched the wall. He lost a little bit.
May have wall ride a little bit, which might save him, but his final 3 corners really have not been all that flash. But does he have enough in hand to go to the top? And he does. The first man into the 22s in this qualifying session. 22.769 for Lockie Lock. His teammate, of course, not in the serve at the moment, just having some internet dramas. But Ben Hall, I'm sure, will make it in for the race and give it a red-hot go out there. As Nathan Higginson has responded. He's 2 tenths, about 2.5 tenths up on his own time, just behind Lockie Lock at the second sector marker. But we did see Lock making mistakes.
Yeah, it's reasonably tidy, a little bit wide on the last corner, so he's a touch late to get on the power there, which will lose him actually quite a lot just because of the length of the straight versus other parts of the circuit. But he should improve on that, and he does. Goes to P2 with a 23.1, so still struggling to break into the 22s. So
he's matched his final sector from his previous fastest lap there. So it's still time to be had there for Higginson. 3 tenths away, and he squeezes himself just ahead of Cheese. And Cheese about 4 tenths ahead of John McDonald. Then we have Matt Cecil, who did hold a purple middle sector for a little while there. But so far, a little bit of a very interesting qualifying session so far.
The smaller field definitely leaves it up for grabs. Right now, Lockie Lock in the ascendancy with a few tenths in his pocket to the next combatant. But we know that there's a few people that can definitely pull out a time around a 22.7 or faster. Matt Cecil in practice has gone quicker than that. So, you know, I'd say it's all on for the top 5 or 6 at this point in time.
Yeah, pole position definitely still up for grabs for a number of drivers out there. I'm just going to have a quick whiz at live races just to see who can or has gone faster. So Matt Cecil, Zach Brown, Noah Tara, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, have all been able to go fast. And Darren Kemp as well, who's not in the server, I don't believe, also has matched or gone better than that 22.7. But so far we've seen no driver really get too close to their optimal fastest lap from any of the practice serves that have been put up. So a bit of a slower weekend so far. Perhaps some nerves creeping in for a number of these drivers, knowing that they've got a real opportunity here to give themselves prime position to possibly win their first race of the season here, Snipes.
And currently in the box seat, Lockie Lock. This would be a fantastic result if he could maintain it. He's got another minute and a bit to get through. He's gone out for one last lap that he's going to be starting in about 20 seconds or so, maybe a bit less. But yeah, he's in the prime seat. He's got a few tenths in hand. Hego will definitely be pushing. He'll be expecting more than a 23.1.
Well, Higginson had gone purple in the first sector. He's, well, that actually may have been a different lap, but we also did see Cheese. He's gone personal best in the first sector, and he's very, very close to Lockie Lock in the middle sector, within a tenth, but he's run wide at turn 11, a corner that you pointed out in practice at the start of the broadcast. It was going to be a difficult one, and he's in the wall at the final corner as well, so that'll be it for him. He's not going to be able to improve unless, well, he won't be able to improve. He's going slowly. He did have time to go and set another lap if he had the fuel.
Perhaps was out of fuel, leaning over. He may, yeah, it looks like he is actually out of fuel. I've got the luxury of being able to have a look at Cheese's monitor. It looked like he was out of fuel there. Bit of a pity he bottled that one. Could have been on.
And here we go. Lockie Lock up 4 tenths. 4.5 tenths on his own time here.
Tough corner here. You've got to really wait for the camber to bring you in to get on the power third gear, coming down the back straight. Now, a lot of drivers will be cutting in, but you really want to stick it out to the wall here. On the brakes, he's up 3.5 tenths. Really good effort down to second gear for Lockie Lock. Now, you really want to flow this section well, get it close to the wall, get on the brakes. This is where it's easy to go deep. He's gone a little bit deep, maybe, but he's still pulled it up pretty well, got on the power reasonably. This is looking like perhaps a new pull lap if he can get this clean.
He did lose time in the middle sector compared to his previous lap, but that final sector did look cleaner. Is it faster, though? To the line for Lockie Lock, a 1:20.085. Not his overall fastest that he's set, but pretty much mimics it, and that takes it just about out of reach, I would imagine. Higginson to the line. What can he manage? And it is a 23-1, so he pretty much just matches his other best. So his previous best that he set before, just marginally slower. Cheese in the pits. Matt Cecil, solid P4 there. But as we can see, though, 1 second separating Lockie Lock, Nathan Higginson, and the rest of the field.
Yeah, fantastic lap there for Locke. That's more pulling out the times that we've been seeing in practice. That's getting more towards those top end times that we have been seeing some of these drivers be able to pull out. But interestingly enough, he's the only driver that was able to pull it out in that 10-minute qualifying session there, with no one else able to get near the form. Really, a whole second to P2 being Higo. And Cheese with a really good qualifying effort versus his practice. Let me tell you, he's done no practice. So coming in P3 here, he'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to just jump straight into street circuit, particularly one that's bumpy like this one, and be fairly competitive straight out the gate. So good effort from Cheese. Certainly well done, though, to Lockie Lock. Only driver, as you said, able to get close to their personal best. So it's pretty much Lockie Lock versus the Greg Normans out there, or the Minnesota Timberwolves if you're a basketball fan. A lot of choking going on out there as we tick over to the warm-up. So that gives us a little bit of time here, Snipes, just to go over the drivers' standings. So we do have the top 10 here, and there it is. Ben Hall leading the championship, 592, plays 554 for Nathan Higginson in second place. Higginson and Locke, who sits in third. Big opportunity for those two, Snipes, to pick up some points, particularly here in race 1, on their nemesis, Ben Hall.
No doubt about it. Hall starting at the back there, obviously not qualifying, is a big blow here. He's still got nearly a 40-point buffer over Nathan Higginson, but that can evaporate really, really quickly when they're starting at the front and you're at the back. You have to drive cleanly, but you still have to be fast and pass cars if you want to make points out of this. This will be a very interesting round for Ben Hall starting here.
Yeah, I'd say I was going to bring up during the broadcast, I think this will be almost a pivotal round in the championship. I know it's only round 3, but street circuits can bite, and there's a couple places that we've seen already that can not only give you, a little bit of suspension damage, but there are rules in place with rollovers where you do have to enter the pits if you do roll over and the game flips you back onto your wheels. So should that happen to a driver out there, which is a very real possibility. You did see Rhodey in practice have a massive rollover in the practice session. Could affect someone if they have too much of a dip at that back chicane. So that's something to look out for. Fourth is Darren Kemp with Matt Cecil, his teammate, not too far behind. Hopefully Darren Kemp can jump into the server and have a crack. He was in the practice server, I believe, so he's also another one that's been having some issues. Hopefully we see him out there. Noah Taro won't be here this evening, unfortunately. He sits 6th. Cheese in 7th, with Taipan in 8th. Justin Cecil 9th, with Mike Coulson, the only Super 3 driver in the top 10. Still a fair effort, but he's not going to be here tonight, so, and possibly for the next round either. So we bid you adieu from the top 10, Mike Coulson. But as we see on the left-hand side there, Ben Hall, Nathan Higginson, 1 pole each. Well, you can add another pole getter with Lockie Lock there. So 3 qualifying sessions, 3 different pole positions, around 3 vastly different circuits. Fastest lap award, 4 fastest laps for Ben Hall. And it's going to be very difficult for him tonight, at least in the first race, to pick up a fastest lap, because you're going to have cars in front of him for days. Now, I'll tick over to the team standings. I will bring up, I don't have a graphic, but I do have a spreadsheet that does go through all the driver standings. I'll bring that up a little bit later. So we do have team standings now. Luke McHugh Racing leads the championship over HME, powered by Kiwi SimSport, with APK SimSport right on their heels. And then quite a big gap to KSS and the LLM Junior Academy in position 5. Flinders Autosport, which of course just Noah Tara on 402. PBF Scotch Smugglers, of course they're a Super 3 outfit of Cracker and Rhodey. They're leading the Super 3 charge ahead of Tevez Shadow Racing and Camel Toe Racing, which of course another single car team. Same goes for WRT Blackshores, but just bring up my super special Dev Series standings, so I'll be able to go through the second half of the second half of the field, I should say. So in P11, Steve Warwick, good opportunity for him to jump into the top 10. He's only 2 points behind Steve Warwick. And Darren Lockland, he's on 248. And he's a very good, he should, after tonight, be in the lead of the Super 3 class. But if he has a really good night, a chance for him to also leapfrog Steve Warwick as well and get himself into the top 10. Phil D, he's 13th in the standings, ahead of Luke Yeager. Christian Alvarez in 15th, with Cracker in 16th. Benjamin Rhodes in 17th, rounding out a trio of Super 3 runners. Peter Thrower in 19th. Of course, he hasn't made every round. Laszlo Teglas in 19th. Zach Brown in 20th. 21st, Steve DeVries. Of course, the Realmian in 22nd. He's here tonight, and he has been in the practice serve. I do wonder if he will race as well. Ayrton Filippi in 23rd. Of course, he missed the last round due to injury. Hopefully all is well after his Formula V crash. John McDonald in 24th, but he's only done the one round. Brian Walsh in 25th. Unfortunately not here this evening. Missed the first round. Got a win in the Super 3 class last time out at his home circuit, and he's got some PC issues, and he's pretty sure watching the broadcast back. He's currently 25th ahead of Phil Boak. Won't hear that too often, but Boakey not here tonight. Also had a lot of non-starts as well. Miles Glenn, that is 27th. Melody Smith in 28th. Felix Kims on 29, with Brad Severs and Brandon Dostal rounding out the field. So 30 seconds of warm-up to go. Not too far away from race number 1 here. And Snipes, it's going to be a very intriguing race. We've got a fast car at the back of the field, fast car at the front of the field, but plenty of opportunities for all these drivers to make a very easy and silly mistake. So odds are there's probably going to be at least one safety car tonight.
Yeah, I'd bet it, Lewis. There will be a safety car tonight. If I was a betting man, I'm not, but I would bet for that to be the play. Now, an interesting side note, not only do we obviously have Ben Hall starting from the back, but we also have the likes of Darren Kemp, who's going to be pushing forward from the back, and Zach Brown, who showed plenty of pace in the official practice server, actually. In the official practice session, he had some, I think, top 5 pace there, so potentially a few cars starting at the back of this first race that will be looking to push through the field. That's going to make for some intriguing action.
Yeah, he did have the 5th overall fastest time, and when I had was looking at him going along out there, he looked fairly consistent and smooth out there too. So he'll be disappointed he couldn't quite get in and set a lap in qualifying. But the number of fast cars at the back of the field that we'd expect to certainly be at the front. So going to make for a very interesting first race. Of course, it's progressive grid. So where you finish is where you start the next race. So you're going to want to have a good, solid start for race 2. Otherwise, it could be a very messy night here, Snipes.
Absolutely. You want to have a good start for any race you can possibly start, really. But anywhere like this, the further forward you are by the time you hit that chicane, the better. That chicane is problematic if you're further back, and you expect first lap to be going considerably slower if you're towards the back versus in the front through that chicane.
Yep. So, very real. Not opportunity, but chance that you could be blindsided by someone having a crash through that chicane as well when you're buried deep in the field and being caught up in someone else's accident. So that's the risk that the drivers at the back of the field are going to have to contend with. It's just, very increased chances of being caught up in something that you didn't cause, or even just being caught out by different braking points and the positioning of other cars around you. So it's a danger race here for the championship for Ben Hall and for Darren Kemp. They need to pick their way forward cleanly, and they'll be hoping quickly as well, but they can't rush it, because if they make a mistake, they'll find themselves in a very big hole and starting at the back again for race number 2, which will put a big dent in their championship hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. Touch on what you said earlier, being caught out. It's super easy to be caught out on a circuit like this. When it comes down to a lot more technical skill and cojones, for lack of a better word, to get you through a section of track, some people just aren't going to have the confidence that other drivers will. And sometimes drivers forget that, and that's where mistakes can easily be made. So hopefully everyone's got their head on them. Anyway, we're off for our warm-up lap, Lewis.
Yep, so Snipes, you better lead us through it. 20 cars here, and it's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, no doubt. Green continues to be the theme if you want to be at the front. This time, however, out of P1, we've got Lockie Lock. Congratulations, mate. A very good lap to get it there. Nathan Higginson starting off the front row alongside. He'll be happy to be there. He'll be a bit in anguish that he's not P1, but he's starting in a good position. Cheese starting out of P3 in his just outright best qualifying of this season. P3 is a great start. He'll hope for a good night from there. Matt Cecil, P4, fantastic effort from him in the Napa car. He'll be looking to pick up a good haul of points tonight. John McDonald back for another round here. Fantastic to see him on the grid with his controller in hand. On his wheel now, doesn't he, actually?
Yeah,
a wheel, I believe. So go John McDonald out of P5, good effort there. Steve Warwick starting out of P6, so that's the first 3 rows, it's taken me a year. And out of P7 we've got Ayrton Filippi, and alongside him Taipan, so it'll be an interesting road there. Ayrton's a bit of a gun. Out of P9 we've got Luke Yeager with our first Super 3 entrant Darren Lockland alongside him, so Darren in a good position in the top 10. Just outside of that, Justin Cecil starting out of P11 alongside Brody. And then we've got Phil Dooney and Laszlo Teglis starting in 13th and 14th respectively, before an old head Netherrealmian in there with Ben Hall alongside him. Look for him to move forward, along with Zach Brown out of P17 and Darren Kemp out of P18. And then we have Damo starting out of P19 tonight, and Melody Smith, who's missed the grid, it seems, starting from the pit lane.
May have been a carryover penalty from the previous round is why she's starting from the pit lane. I know she was heavily penalised for something, but I'm not sure if I can't remember actually, if it incurred a pit lane start as well, but she'll have to wait, of course, until the lead driver crosses the first sector mark, which is about 27, 28 seconds in green flag running, so it'll be a little bit longer than that, but lights are on here. Some cars are angled, some cars aren't. It's all about the start, and away we go. Looks like Higginson got away well. Ben Hall down the back got a great start, and they're 3 wide in the second and third rows there. There was concerns for a big accident at turn 1. Was a little bit of contact there somewhere, but it looks like they have all lived so far. And John McDonald up into 3rd place. Steve Warwick, another one who's jumped up a spot as well. Matt Cecil dropping like a rock at the moment. He's got Filippi up his inside, and Ben Hall already up into position number 8 as he goes around the outside of Taipan. And someone was scraping
start there from Ben Hall. That's 8 positions gained in 4 corners. Incredible effort, honestly. Getting a good jump off the line and making authoritative moves. Serving him well. Nathan Higginson's taken the opportunity to try get himself a gap from Lockie Lock, to which he has to a small degree. He's got himself something towards the second here.
I'm just going to go to a replay here just to see how he's got that getaway. So he knows how to start the car. Everyone else in front of him just bogged down. A little bit of a lag chucked in there, but
good start and lots of space into one there.
Yeah. A lot of space, and then was able to just battle his way through and then get the move done there on Yeager. But we'll cut back live now, so a little bit further back. They've got this massive gaggle of cars behind Ayrton Filippi. He must have made a mistake as we're looking at that replay. Darren Kemp's moved up ahead of him. A little bit of lag, and he's in the wall, and well, pinballing all over the place there. So that looks like some hardware lag there for Felipe, seeing him drop down. And yeah, another stutter again. So I reckon
that's problematic.
It may be a bit safer for him to just park it if it's going to continue doing that. We've got a
that's
car off. Matt Cecil is off. That's Steve Warwick as well down there at the hairpin.
Oh, no.
And I'm surprised it's not a safety car. So what's happened here? So riding. Oh, Matt Cecil's coming way too hot. And
that is huge.
Let's just have a look at that from Steve Warwick's point of view. Obviously, he's just been walloped. But he has perfectly split between John McDonald and Cheese. Both of those drivers should
buy a lotto ticket.
Buy a lotto ticket. And that's a safety car as well. So
there it is. The first one's out. And what an accident to bring it out. That's massive.
And Ben Hall is already up into P5. That's exactly what Cheese, John McDonald, Lockie Lock, and Nathan Higginson didn't want, because they were 6 seconds ahead. And, well, now it's essentially not going to be anything. Big free kick, though, for Melody Smith at the start from the pits. And that's going to bring her to the back of the pack. But you said put money on it, and, well, it was a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, it certainly is. A track like this is always trouble, but that was a big miscalculation from Cecil there, it seemed, into the back of Warwick. It was a big crash, and I tell you what, you'd be feeling blessed to be Cheese or John McDonald after that one, seeing that car just fly through the middle of you.
Yeah, so I'll just go through a little bit of a rundown now that we are under the safety car, at least of the order. Haven't had too much running. Of course, Higginson got away well and is into the lead ahead of Lockie Lock, our pole man. John McDonald, a good start, up into third place ahead of Cheese. We have Ben Hall, of course, who did have to start from 16th after not setting a lap due to some internet dramas. And then we have Taipan in P6. He's actually moved up a couple spots. Darren Lockland in P7, the lead Super 3 driver. He's ahead of Darren Kemp, who's also up 10 spots. He'll be hoping to make it a few more, that's for sure. He's ahead of Justin, Cecil and Rhodey. Rhodey second place in class, of course, for Super 3. He'll be hoping to put a bit of pressure on Darren Lockland and try and steal a win here. Phil D in P11 in his newly liveried Ford Falcon FGX ahead of Zach Brown, who's another man to look forward to in this race. He does have a little bit of speed if he can just get some moves done. Ahead of Laszlo Teglas and Damo in 13th and 14th. Netheralbian in 15th. Steve Warwick 16th. Matt Cecil in 17th, of course. Steve and Matt both caught up in that incident down there at turn 2. Luke Yeager in 18th. He's down 9 spots. He's had a drama that we've not seen as well. Ahead of Felipe, who's had a little bit of lag as well. And Melody Smith rounding out the field. And, well, we can take a breath for a little bit, as it sounds like someone's actually come into the pit lane. That's Felipe coming.
Felipe. And a smart play, provided, personally I hope his issues are sorted so he can continue to go around, but provided they are, if you're at the back of the field, you've got nothing to lose boxing under the safety car, get yourself a fresh set, and hopefully those couple of laps of green running, those people with those tyres that are just a little bit older might struggle a little bit more towards the end of the race.
And it does have a little bit of front end damage on the front left, and as you can see, instant fix there. If only the panel beaters could be that effective in real life. Not seeing a lot of tyre warming from the drivers, so it looks like we're going to be staying under yellow for this lap and for the next as well. But yeah, I do wonder if a number of those drivers towards the back end of the field might think of pulling into the pits for another set of soft tyres. See, tyre wear not going to be an issue. You're not going to run out of tyre, but maybe just for that last couple laps, having that slight advantage over cars you're racing might help them.
Yeah, absolutely, it can certainly be handy. It's calculated risk, but if you're at the back, as long as you've got the time to catch back up to the safety car queue, when you're at the very back, you've got nothing to lose. If I assume Matt Cecil's pitted, which is why he's sitting in P17, 16 to lead. so that's just a redress. But if he hasn't pitted, that's madness. But yeah, if I was people down the back that haven't pitted, and you know you've got time under, you may as well. It's not, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah, Steve Warwick, Matt Cecil, Luke Yeager, Melody Smith, even Nether Damo, and you know all the Super 2 drivers that are a little bit further back in the pack. Definitely worth a shout of you know, just putting some fresh tyres on. If you know we are still staying under safety car conditions here. I imagine this will be the last lap, but we'll soon find out if we see drivers warming tyres that we're definitely going green.
Having a quick little squiz over at Cheese's screen there indicates that it's not green flag next time around, but I may have missed it at the same time.
Yeah, so we'll find out, although Rossi may clear the yellows as well if he's hanging around as well. So it's something that could happen, can be overridden by the admin team. Should safety car drag.
We can get back to racing. So that's definitely what we want to be watching. We don't really enjoy the old follow the safety car. It is obviously a carnage track though, so expect to see 1 or 2 of these throughout the evening. But hopefully the lads can kind of get it together, get a good safe restart away, and back to it.
And we are seeing drivers now start to warm their tyres up, particularly the race leader Nathan Higginson.
Yeah.
So that indicates that we may
be on here.
Yeah, we may be on for a restart. Not seeing any warming up from Lockie Lock though in second place. So could just be a little bit of mind games, but I mean, I'd be definitely, if we're going green, I'd definitely be wanting to warm the tyres up because it's very easy to loop these cars even with perfectly conditioned tyres, let alone when they're icy cold.
Let's see if Higger gives the safety car a bit of room here. You'd want to do it, give yourself a bit of a run.
It's right close to him, so
he's nailing it.
I reckon safety car's staying out.
No, it's in.
No, it's
going
in. Light is in. Now, do people remember safety car procedure, or will we be seeing another accident? A bit different to Albert Park. And Higginson just waiting and biding his time. He's going to go at the start-finish line here. Give Lockie Lock the least amount of time, and a bit of a anticipation for McDonald. He had to get out of it, and also cost Lockie Lock a little bit. She's going to be the big winner here. All the contact as McDonald outbroke himself. Cheese the big winner. Hall also up a spot as McDonald looking to make that move back on Hall, but not quite close enough. So Cheese now up into second place after this calculation from John McDonald.
That's what you wanted for Cheese, just to get up there, get towards the front. That's really good work to get 2 seconds, and now he's applying a bit of pressure there towards Nathan Higginson, of course, leading the pack. And
we've got the 2 Luke McHugh racing cars also battling coming into the chicane there.
Yeah, no team orders going on there. Lockie Lock holding his own against Ben. You'd have to feel that Ben's possibly got the overall pace, but let's see what happens with that little team battle.
And he's pushing the limit there, very, very close to the wall on the left-hand side. Does jut out a little bit. Can't remember, I think that's turn 6 or 7 down there. Just having a look up the inside and makes it really awkward for Lockie Lock, who saw him at the last minute and gave him space, and then Hall just didn't even commit to the move, so they both lose out time there. Again, Hall all kinds of sideways out of the final corner. See Darren Kemp now up into P7, not too far away.
Yeah, part of working together in a team here is working out, not losing each other time, trying to battle, getting it over and done with quickly, working out how you guys should work. They're battling hard here. Lockie Lock not letting Ben by, although now he's just giving them the inside into 2. This could be it.
Yeah, so after all that hard fighting, and then it just lets him go. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me, but what would I know? I've only been watching racing for over 20 years, but anyway.
Nothing at all, Lewis. You know absolutely nothing. That is the first rule of it all.
Might as well have just kept on fighting, but obviously do have a team's championship to consider as well, as they bounce their way through the chicane. And Taipan now looking to make a move on McDonald.
He's right up the back grill into this corner here. It's a difficult one up the chicane to actually make a move unless you can get right alongside. It's quite understeery in the Super 2 spec cars.
Of course, these drivers in the div series aren't able to make changes to the setup. We've seen a change of position. Cheese has made a mistake somewhere. And Ben Hall, I would say, might find himself in a spot of bother there. I know both cars ran wide, but Ben Hall would have picked up a track cut for that. Kept his foot pinned. Kept his foot pinned and then made the overtake at the next corner. That's, well, that's...
Well, it's questionable at best, to be fair. But,
could be controversy afoot at the end of this round. I know if that was me racing, I'd certainly be protesting that. That's not the most ethical of passes that you'll see.
I have to feel that he's just on a mission to go get Nathan Higginson. He doesn't really care what's on his way. He wants to get past and wants to get past now. Cheese will just want to actually follow him. Ben Hall's got a lot of pace, so Cheese will just want to try tuck in and stay right with him.
And with Ben Hall being that aggressive as well, I mean, sure he might catch up, but he always wide again. He might also end up fencing it, and I think he did hit the fence there, just behind the camera.
I saw a bit of a deflection there from him, so he might want to just rein it in a bit. He's appearing to overdrive the car just a touch. He's pushing. He's definitely pushing hard to catch Higo in front of him. Higo's smart. He'll be maintaining his tyres. Higo's hit the wall. He's feeling the pressure already. He must be. He's hit the fence holes up the inside.
He's thrown it away already.
They're going to be battling into one, but does Hall have the overspeed to get past him? No. Higo will be able to maintain the inside. It's the advantageous position. It's where you'd want to be for this. You can kind of hold him a bit wider, and Higo's trying to do it, but Ben Hall taking the ascendancy in the corner. There's contact, but he gets around. Good move.
Yeah, so Higginson there with the mistake, and then didn't really want to send it up deep under brakes either. He's going to try into two, and they sort of edge towards each other under braking. And we're also seeing Lockie Lock in the background, big bit of a dive bomb there on Cheese, getting the move done. So multiple changes of position for first and for third. And John McDonald still ahead of Taipan, although Taipan now under pressure from Kemp instead of...
So sorry there, Lewis. Ben Hall was so sideways out of the chicane. I'm not sure if there was contact with him and Higo, but it is absolutely on like Donkey Kong. Ben Hall continues to run wide down there past the chicane, so it's a bit of trouble for him.
Yeah, so the battle is on. I'll try and cut to a replay here. So this is what Nathan Higginson saw. So a little bit sideways, and then he tried to gas it up after going over the curbs. And just lit up the rears. These guys 3 seconds ahead of Lock and Cheese now. It's a two-horse race.
Got a good battle for P6 right now here, Lewis. Darren Kemp was all over Taipan. Justin Cecil actually joining the melee here as well. It's 3 cars deep, and they're going to be heading down into one. Darren Kemp looks like he's got a bit more pace coming from the back of the field, but Taipan's not just going to let him go.
He's having a look up the inside of one. Similar line to Nathan Higginson, although Kemp this time is able to maintain a little bit extra speed and momentum. He's having a look again here at turn 2. Deep under brakes. He's got to be able to pull it up though. And gets the job done.
Yeah, did get it done. Authoritative pass in the end, just put it there, signalled his intention, absolutely sent it up the inside, said I'm here, it doesn't matter what you do at this point in time. Gave him room and got the move done.
Just going to go a little bit further back as well. Got Matt Ceciliet and Felipe also duking it out here. A bit of contact there.
Tough part of the track to be going side by side at, but even tougher part of the track would be the chicane up here. They've sorted it out, those Cecils.
We got yellows. We got yellows here at the chicane.
Oh, it's Taipan.
Oh, and he's in the middle of the track. And we've got
Jaeger's hit the wall.
And we've got cars all over the place that aren't really slowing down despite there being a parked car there.
Yeah, this is a little bit troublesome if you're Taipan. Melody's not sure what to do, but everyone has somehow got around him safely there. perpendicular all the way across the track there. That's a bit of a roadblock to be navigating, especially after such a part of the track as the chicane.
Yeah, so there you go. It's a testament to all the drivers being able to avoid stationary car literally in the middle of the track. In the past, I've seen drivers end up having monumental crashes in that situation. So good to see drivers that were aware this time. Also seeing in the live chat, being notified that it wasn't actually a track cut given to Ben Hall, which is quite a surprise. It was track limits were modified to stop people from going over the back of that curb, so they'll definitely need to be looked at prior to the supercar round. Certainly did go outside the track limits that would be defined by the admin team rather than the game, but just those hashtag AMS things. That's I guess the biggest battle out on track now is between Matt Cecil, Ayrton Filippi, Darren Lockland not too far down the road.
Yeah, Cecil and Filippi going at it a bit here. It's been interesting little battle. Matt Cecil's been around the block for a while now. Filippi's still a young gun, racing in real life though, so bit more real life experience to bring to the table. But Matt Cecil's certainly been driving the supercars for a bit. Will he be able to hold him off? As he's also trying to just get past Lockland, which is proving to be a bit more difficult than obviously you'd hope for.
Yeah, so Lockland, the leading Super 3 runner at the moment. Techless is not too far behind. He's made a mistake though at turn 1. That's going to allow Cecil by. And
Filippi's following him through.
He gassed it up as well and hit the wall as on the outside again. There's Filippi all over the back of Cecil looking to make a move. Darts left and right. Gap at the front's come down a little bit. Higginson's actually gone purple in the first sector. And the gap back down to half a second as we see Matt Cecil lock it up.
Ben Hall just narrowing his line down at the back of the circuit. Hey, Nathan Higginson's just hit the wall, but he's still managing to just hold on to it. He's starting to possibly lose his tyres a bit though, get towards the back end of the race.
Yeah, a little bit of overdriving as well. I think he sees that car right in front, wants to get a move done. We've got a safety car. We've got a safety car. We've got Zach Brown around at the carousel part of the circuit. Just going to cut to a replay and see what's transpired here. So he's just gassed it up and hit the wall on the inside. But is there another incident on the circuit? I wonder, or is that what caused it? So, no, we had Cheese. Cheese also went around, but he went around, but quickly.
P5 now.
He was able to quickly recover and only lost position to John McDonald. So I don't think Cheese caused it, unless the game saw there being 2 yellow flags simultaneously and opted to just throw a yellow. And all right behind the safety car, not giving any space. Good way to get some front end damage. It is an immovable object in Automobilista and R Factor, the safety car. You try to hit it, it will not budge. And in fact, all these drivers should know by now to leave space to the car in front, and they've had a safety car earlier on. They're all the front 3 runners caught out by the safety car at the back straight chicane there, all having to check up or even hit the safety car or each other.
Contact there.
As Ben Hall also hit the safety car. So this is just brain dead driving. These guys should know to slow up, but
these guys have the experience to know what to do here. Give each other some space. I don't see the need for everyone to bunch right up to each other. Just give each other a bit of room. Give the safety car a bit of room. We all know that's irrational as anything in this game. And get yourself sorted, ready for the next restart.
And we have had a caller on pit lane. Taipan has pitted for some fresh tyres. Now, of course, racers have one shot here. There is a green-white checker in effect for these drivers. It will be a 1-lap dash once we go green. So you'll see it on the left-hand side there. That's provided time does not run out. I would imagine, though, that Rossi may just clear it so they can get one shot in here. But we do have probably... you probably want the safety car in at the end of this lap to make sure that the time limit doesn't come into play here. 25 minutes. So the drivers have had the one safety car earlier on in the race, and this is the second. That's Nathan Higginson. He's got one last chance here, Snipes. Can he get it done?
Ooh, it's interesting if he can get a good jump and possibly get Ben to go defensive into 1 and set up a good run down to 2. I think that's his best shot. If he doesn't have it done by 2, I'm sorry, Higo. I don't think you'll be taking the win here.
And with the commitment that Ben Hall has shown, which is at times bordered on being overcommitted into a number of corners, maybe if he just goads him into a mistake, as you said, could just maybe even himself just come in very deep under brakes at turn 1 or 2, or even any other part of the circuit, provided he's close enough, and just see if Ben on that last lap just wants to try and outbrake him. He drives in his mirrors, maybe force him to drive in his mirrors just a little bit too much and force Ben into that mistake, and he's able to pick up that position, even if he himself might sort of cost himself a little bit of momentum. I wonder if we will see that, as oh geez, a number of these drivers running wide there and almost colliding into each other there. So these guys again not paying attention under safety car conditions. Saipan still trying to catch the safety car. Melody Smith just catching the back of the queue.
Yeah, we're about to see if the safety car goes in. Will the lights go out? And if it does, who will get a good jump? Will Higginson read the jump well enough?
It's staying out for one more.
It is staying out.
So we'll get one. I imagine the safety car will come in. Yeah, so we are, I think, well, we'll see what happens. I think the game will probably just call it as they cross the start-finish line here. But hopefully we do get that one lap dash in.
Yeah, I can't help but feel we might be finishing this race here under safety car. Super unfortunate if you have gone to box for some fresh tyres, but it is what it is at this point. Let's hope for another race lap.
Yeah, but time is expiring here. So 40 seconds left. There's no way they're going to make it around in time. You wouldn't even make it around at this part of the track under green conditions, I don't think. So we will soon find out. But as it stands, Ben Hall, the leader, after starting effectively back of the grid after being able to miss qualifying. But there is an asterisk next to it. Did gain an advantage by running off the circuit at this very corner that you see on the screen. Running very wide to the right hand side of the curb on your screen there. Kept his foot planted and then made a move on someone at the next corner. So that could be protested, which would, well, if that does happen here, Cheese, and he does get penalised, that'll probably be a 20, drive through a 20 second penalty or so. And that'll put him to the back of the field if that happens. So
yeah, that's an absolutely disastrous penalty for you. But to go from practically last to first, to go back to last on that would not feel good. Probably wouldn't make the mistake again.
Now the safety car, the lights do go out, but will the game call a checker? Yeah, so when the drivers approach the line, we'll see on the left-hand side if it calls a checker or a white flag here. Will we get the one lap, or is it just going to end under safety car? And it will be the white flag. One lap dash. Here we go. Hall versus Higginson. Away we go. Hall waiting to the line. Higginson looks a little bit of contact. They're both wide, but the car's
going to have a run here.
Oh, we've got a spinner. That's Darren Lockland in the background. He's had a spin, possibly contact. I'm not sure. Hall's able to hold on. They're both defensive.
Contact's huge.
Contact. Hall is wide. Higginson slows down. I reckon he was trying to redress, but they're both moving under braking, and that's caused a massive checkup and essentially handed Hall the win here.
Yeah, that's not quite the battle you want to see at the front, but there's still plenty of battle going on behind Cheese. Looking up the inside of John McDonald here, he wants to get that P4 back, and there's a tight field heading into the chicane for the last time.
Yep, so here we go. Hall, Higginson comfortably 1-2. Lock's probably comfortable third there. But after this all, that's Teglas, I think, in the fence. And actually, the big battle here, stuff the Super 2 stuff for now. We don't care about that. We've got Rhodey not too far away from Lockland here. Can he steal a win in the Dev Series here? That's the question.
He might be able to. It's all on down at the back end of Super 2 as well. Justin Cecil and Nathan Felipe, 8 and 9, side by side for the last couple
So
corners.
Hall will cross the line, Victor, but will he hold it is the big question. Higginson second, Lock third, Cheese fourth, Kemp recovered to position 5, McDonald, Steve Warwick, a good recovery after that initial contact early on, Justin Cecil, Ayrton Felipe, Matt Cecil, Damo, Phil D, Darren Lockland holding on in Super 3, Luke Yeager in 14th, Rhodey in 15th, first podium for him of the season in the Super 3 class. Teglas home in 16th, last lap mistake from him, or possibly contact, we don't know, we just saw him running into the wall there on that final lap. Taipan in 17th was a late call into the pits behind the safety car, that's why he's a little bit further down. Taipan 17th, Never Home in 18th, Melody Smith in 19th, sorry, and then Zach Brown home in 20th.
Wasn't that that was a chaotic ending there? It'll be intriguing to see how it all looks, perhaps, if this cloud over Ben Hall's win here, as it looms over. It'll be intriguing to see what happens heading into the next round. Penalties out of this one, but what a race.
Yeah, so we're going to go back. So you're going to hear the cars zooming off in the background here. No, hold on. No, the server's reset, so I'm not going to be able to get the replay up for that. But yeah, certainly very, very interesting. And there was some late moving there, and that's going to be tough call there. We may see some text in the old incident chat channel there, but yeah, very entertaining. In the end, though, that one lap dash. And still, no one can stop the man at the moment. Ben Hall taking victory's knives.
Yeah, no doubt. He's certainly got the pace in this cast. Like, it's not quite last to first, you know. That kind of challenge he's just run there with the Super 2 field, and he's done it. He pulled it off. Higo there, I felt the last lap there, possibly just tried to push the move. Nearly got down the inside though, so it nearly worked out for him. Possibly just trying to get him on the defensive, maybe in a good call though. But good racing, a little bit of unfortunate contact in the last lap, kind of soured the battle for first to the line, but nevertheless it was a good battle for first anyway. And the battle throughout the pack was good there, particularly that last lap was absolutely manic throughout the back of the top 10, let me tell you.
Yeah, thankfully we were able to get that one last lap in, and it's on for young and old, up and down the field. And hopefully we can see a bit more of that, but under fully green flag running in races 2 and 3. So yeah, with race 1 done and dusted, Ben Hall taking the victory. Higginson home in second with Lockie Lock in third. Of course, all results are pending further investigations via the admins and incident reports. But as it stands, that's what the top 3 are. Anyway, we'll take a short break to go grab ourselves a drink and possibly a bite to eat. But we shall be back in a couple minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to round 3 of the ASR development series. And we've seen a very chaotic race number 1. Still between sessions at the moment, in the technically the warm-up session for race number 2, but a number of drivers seems like they've been having issues as they're dropping in and out. So hopefully we're able to get in and running very shortly. Still 2 drivers not in the server at the moment, just trying to see. So Matt Cecil is one of them, and I think Zach Brown is the other that we're still waiting on here. So hopefully they're able to get in and we're able to get racing for race number 2, where I reckon we may see a little bit of a change of pace now, Snipes, with some of those faster guys that did start at the back for race number 1. They've now found themselves towards the front end of the field, where we may see a little bit more of a stock standard race, I guess, with those guys a bit further forward.
Comes the battle at the front, and this could go any of 5 ways realistically. There'll be more of these people with a bit more pace that'll be starting up there. Now, notably, Zach Brown, I believe, still finishing towards the rear in the last race, so I would expect him again forward, provided that he can keep it mistake-free. But yeah, no, I'm expecting much more of a battle in the top 4 or 5. It should be a little bit less of just one person driving away from everyone, I fancy.
So, going to be intriguing to see how it all plays out here. As still waiting on Zach Brown at the moment, who's not currently in the server. Although something's happened to my game. I don't know if we've ticked over sessions or whatever, but or all cars have just gone back to the pits. But yeah, no engines going in the background. So either
I've got all cars in the pits currently. I can see all of them, so I don't think we've ticked over anywhere. But yeah, no, I reasonably. Oh, Matt Cecil's just left again. Bummer.
Yeah, so these guys better sort this stuff out here. Do not want to be waiting around too long, as the grid now being set by the admin team. And yeah, about 2.5 minutes away from the warm-up session concluding. I apologise. So hopefully Cecil and Brown can both get in and we can get running, as yeah, sort of running out of airtime here. So just being notified the championship standings have been updated, so if I don't sneeze my life away again in the next minute, which is quite likely, I'll be able to go over the updated standings in a second here. So while we wait, driver standings, Ben Hall still leads the way, of course. 692 plays, 646 of Nathan Higginson, 46-point difference. Lockie Lock in third on 556. Neither of those guys able to capitalise on Ben Hall's starting position. And we have Darren Kemp now in position 4, ahead of Matt Cecil. So 2 APK cars, 4th and 5th. Cheese in position 6. Noah Tara dropping down to P7. Justin Cecil 8th. Taipan in 9th. Is Steve Warwick now into the top 10, as everyone's got back into the game, and you can hear the siren in the background, which indicates we have ticked over to the race session. But to update, I guess, the Super 3, or for those following the Super 3 class, Darren Lockland now leading that championship by 6 points over Mike Coulston, with Benjamin Rhodes, or Rhodey, now in 3rd place overall in Super 3, but he's about 92 points off the lead of that Super 3 championship. So was close, fairly close to Darren Lockland at the back end of that race. It'll be interesting to see if he can just find that little bit of extra pace and maybe snag a win and get some points back on our new Super 3 leader here. Alright, so moments away here.
I was on the grid, Lewis, and unfortunately, and the driver's dropped out. So let's hope.
Oh, Higginson has dropped out here, and he's dropped back. So we've got a car in the midfield as well that's not on the grid. I don't know who that is. Well, he's been dropping in and out, so I don't know if we'll restart it again here. As much as we don't want drivers missing out, we don't want the night to go for too long as well. Alright, well, considering you did it in race number 1, I'll do it here for race number 2 and roll through the grid for what's going to be an intriguing race number 2 from the Hamilton Street Circuit. So Ben Hall, after starting P16, ended up taking the win somehow in race number 1. So he'll start from pole ahead of Nathan Higginson. Couldn't quite get the job done, but they will be battle joined here off the front row. Lockie Lock will start third ahead of Cheese, and Darren Kemp, another one who started towards the back of the field, able to do a great job and move up to position 5 by the end of the race. Don McDonald, solid qualifying effort from him, and had a pretty handy race as well, picking up some solid points there. He'll start P6 ahead of Steve Warwick, another one who is well down the field, but a couple of safety cars and some good racing got himself back into the top 10. Justin Cecil will start P8 ahead of Ayrton Felipe, another one who was caught up in some dramas early on in that race, able to recover to get a top 10 ahead of Damo, who will be starting 10th. Phil D, I did mention it earlier, that is his new livery, new green-eyed monster, the Blue Mountain skid marks. Then we have Darren Lockland will start from position 12, winner in race number 1 in the Super 3 class. He'll start ahead of Luke Yeager and Rhodey in 13th and 14th respectively. Laszlo Teglas will start from position 15. Taipan, who did pit late on, that's why he's down the field. He'll start from 16th in this one. Netherelmian will start 17th ahead of Melody Smith. And Zach Brown, he'll start 19th after a late incident with ditching out the safety car. And drivers now forming up on to the grid where green and black continues to dominate.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who gets a better start. Getting out in P1 is going to be super important early. If you're Higo, you definitely want to get a better jump off than Hall here. He's your main championship rival. You want to get him early.
And Hall there slightly out of position, having to be moved back, but lights are on here. Who gets the jump? And a little bit of lag there, and had a start line spin. Jaeger went nowhere and then got rear-ended. An immediate safety car. So
wow.
There we
couldn't
go.
even make a corner this time. That's very unfortunate. I think it's just
one of those things here. So right on board Jaeger. In fact, there's someone. I swear I heard someone hit something. There might have just been lag, but. So it was Phil Donny just went nowhere, and Jaeger just
tried to get out of it.
Yeah, he just got nowhere to go. So I'll try and cut to Phil here and see if he's just stalled it or if he's just missed the start. Yeah, he's stalled. His stalled car is off at the wrong time, and that is why you have the clutch pulled in and you give it plenty of revs at the start. And well, he's only lost one position, but unfortunately for Jaeger, that's put him to the back of the field.
Certainly not the start you want, especially when you haven't actually really done anything wrong. Just unfortunate you're behind the guy who forgets just quite what to do there. A little mistake off the line, you stall it, and then, well, the person behind you's got nowhere to go. He's got traffic behind him, and you're suddenly facing the wrong way. Very unfortunate for Luke Jaeger, but good news is, jeepers, it couldn't have happened earlier in the race. He's got as much time as you could ask for, possibly, to work back into it.
Yeah, it gives him plenty of time to work his way forward. And I think another thing you can be thankful for, it's not one of the bigger grids on the field, so it's not like all the biggest spacings between grid slots. So he didn't hit Phil at massive speed to really give him massive damage, and I don't think the cars behind him that did hit him would have hit him at massive pace either. So don't think he'll have too much damage at all. It'll just mainly be superficial, and it won't cost him any lap time. So some positives to take out of it, but yeah, not an ideal way to start a race, that's for sure. But yeah, plenty of time for him to move his way back up.
Absolutely. You never want to be in an incident, but if you're going to be in one, early on is probably about as ideal as it comes. Interesting. I've quickly just dropped out of the server for a moment, Lewis, so I won't be able to see too much. But from what I remember, at least, I'm pretty sure Cheese managed to move up that one or two positions off the start. Got past, I think it might have been Lucky Lock in front of him, moved to P3.
Yes, he certainly did. On our screens, he was able to jump Lucky Lock at the start there, so back up to third for Cheese. Now, the big question mark for all these, probably top four, will be, can they avoid running into the back of each other and the safety car, which we saw the final safety car prior to the restart in race number 1. Now, will the safety car peel in? As Rossi, or one of the other admins, set the command to get us going again.
No, it will not. We're going around for another lap.
Yep, so another lap behind the safety car. There you go. Has now caught up to the back of the queue. Drivers now warming their tyres, so I reckon they've been told that we're probably going to go green this time by. So already a significant chunk of this race will be done and dusted. Unfortunately behind the safety car, but it's just motor racing.
Yeah, that indeed is motor racing. You do get mistakes that do cause safety cars. You'd think in real life it'd take more than a couple of laps perhaps to clean up some of that. So I suppose it's justified. However, in the sim world, so it's all ready. We're good to go running. The sooner the better. The less safety car action as such, the better for us, I think, tonight. But I think that when you're looking through this field, I think that you might look at seeing someone like Steve Warwick in P7 really size up someone like John McDonald. Steve Warwick John McDonald's raced as part of ASR AMS Oz for a couple of years off and on. Steve Warwick's been really quite solid this season, and I think that tonight, especially in this reduced field, Lewis, he'll be looking to hit top 5s. He's got the pace in this field to be in that top 5, and he'll certainly be not content with 7.
Yeah, so if he can just keep his nose clean and a few of the other drivers in front just battle like we've seen already so far, which is for the most part pretty willingly. He's a smart head, has been around racing for quite a while. Real chance of a top 5. All things go his way, might even steal a podium. Would need a little bit of luck for that though, but he's in a decent position here.
Absolutely. I expect we should be gearing up for a restart here. Safety car goes around the last corner. We are very much hoping to see lights off and a peel away.
No, it's staying out, so drivers just trying to put some temperature in their tyres. Well, we haven't gone racing yet, so wouldn't be much temp in them.
Oh, absolutely. A battle to look out for as we obviously do head into this race, of course, is Darren Lockland and Rhodey out of P11 and 12, their current Super 3 competitors. So Darren Lockland obviously just taken the lead of the championship with the last race in Mike Colston's absence. He'll be looking to extend out. But even though Rhodey is a wee bit away, it only takes one mistake for him to be right up there with Darren in points. So he'll be wanting to get past him if he can possibly do that and really shake up these Super 3 standings.
Yeah, so, well, I guess black and green has been the dominant Super 2 colour at the moment, at least on circuit. Black and blue in Super 3 is the dominant colour in Lockland and Rhodey leading the Super 3 class. We have seen in the past Rhodey show glimpses of speed and then just overcook it. This is a big opportunity for him. His main rival for a win right in front of him. And hopefully these two can put on a show. And we have a battle in the Super 3 class for the remainder of this race. And Rossi leads for 2 minutes and there's a safety car. Yep, and well, it's a pretty long 2 minutes. Rossi?
If someone ought to buy you a watch for your birthday, mate, that is shocking.
I've been racing for 8 minutes now, or just about 8 minutes, but we are going green. So Rossi, I'm guessing, has run the command just to make sure. Even if the game has said we're going green. Higgins are very close to Ben Hall there off the restart. In fact, right on board Ben Hall off this restart, on the roof cam facing backwards. And so far, everyone that's led away, Hall and Higginson, have waited until the start-finish line. So that may be the procedure for tonight. Get to the start-finish line. Oh, and he's checked up massively, and that may be a penalty for Hall there. He's just braked and suddenly slowed down, and caused a checkup, which has caused contact there. And then he's gone and sort of slowed down again. So all happening here off the start. I'm not sure if anyone...
He may actually have it done here. He got a good run through there, but yeah, that was certainly questionable at best from Hall. I wonder what has happened there, because that's not part of the game plan of what you should be doing leading a safety car queue. But Higginson looking to consolidate P1 into turn 2 here, and Cheese now riding the rear of Ben Hall too. It's not gone to plan in that first couple of corners for Ben.
Certainly hasn't. I do wonder if anybody lost positions. I do wonder if anyone lost positions due to that that contact as they bounce their way over the curbing at the back straight.
John McDonald with a little lag there. I thought he was flying off the circuit. Ben Hall wide again down the back end of the circuit. He's certainly liking extending that corner. I'm yet to actually see him not push out to the past over the ripple strip there. So it'll be intriguing to see whether he pulls that up.
He did it, yeah. Just cut to replay just to check that, and again he kept his foot planted while being well over that curve there. Higginson defensive into that final corner, and that's definitely going to compromise him here into turn 1. So while the front two battle, it could bring Lock and Cheese into play here, as got drivers weaving left and right here.
Hall's got the inside. He's got
he's locked the rears.
And he somehow skated that in front of Higginson without any major contact, without losing it completely. That was out of control, but he managed to get it there.
Moving left and right here, driving in his mirrors. Got two Max Verstappens out there at the moment.
Yeah, this isn't the greatest display from these two. They can definitely race really well.
I don't know, there may have been a little bit of light contact on the way into the carousel there, but they managed to live to fight another day. Cheese is right there. These guys have somehow dropped Lock and Kemp through all of this. These guys battling hard.
Got his mop in hand. He's prepared to be the cleanup crew whenever one of these two gets it wrong.
On Higginson, not an ideal run here. They're all a little bit sideways or wide. Hall almost into the fence again on the exit of that corner. Sorry to cut you off there. It's nice,
You're
but
a good boat. Carry on.
it is all happening here at the moment. Front two battling for sheep stations.
Yeah, this is absolute hammer and tong stuff. They're not really giving an inch at all, but they probably should give just a little bit more than what they have been doing. There's still a long way to go in this race. They don't really want to be battling like this the whole time. They're bound to make a big mistake.
And bound to make a mistake, because also they're battling not just a big mistake that'll cost them, let's say, the win. It'll cost them multiple positions. It's looking like if these guys come together, it's going to be a monumental crash. So Cheese, he has dropped off the back of these two a little bit as they've sort of stopped fighting here. But being a little bit further back might actually help him and give him time to avoid any incident these two may have in front of him. As again, Hall with that slightly better exit, driving straight into the back of Higginson on the exit of the hairpin down there. As Higginson, a bit of a lock-up as he struggles over the bumps. And away we go once again.
Yeah, down to the chicane. It's hard to be P2 in this situation, actually. Judging it to get a good run through whilst not nailing the person in front. But Ben Hall's got a good run out of here. How will he attack this corner?
Higginson defensive. And again, Hall just goes straight over it. And guns it almost hit the wall that time, so it did lose a little bit of time.
Yeah,
And we've got a safety car again. We've got a safety car. We've got Melody Smith around. Rhodey has backed out of it, so I wonder if Rhodey's driven into the back of Melody Smith here. So here we go on the replay. No, that's just awkward from both of them, so... Melody Smith is slow. There's a little bit of lag there, so I can't quite tell what happens.
Oh.
Rhodey's up the inside, and then Melody Smith just sort of turns down. So a bit of an awkward one. Unfortunately, we've got another safety car, but it lets these front guys just breathe a little.
Cool their jets a bit, I think, is probably the order of the day. Cheese was sitting there just waiting because an accident was going to happen. It was going to be an aeroplane crash. Those two were battling for absolute sheep stations. But now they've got another few laps just to cool it down before the madness gets on again. I tell you what, Cheese and will be feeling confident that he can pull away from Lock after that last start, and he'll be wanting to do that again, secure his first podium of the night.
Yeah, so you did say coming in he hadn't done any practice and qualified fairly well, and it looks like so far he Snipes, as the night has gone on, he's picked up a little bit extra speed following... Obviously, the cars in front of him, they're a little bit quicker here. So, as the night's gone on, he's gotten quicker and quicker.
Certainly pulled it out of his ass a bit. And I don't know where it's come from, because he didn't have a lot of speed at practice, but he found it in qualifying. He found an extra second and a half or so. And yeah, he's been able to actually keep up with these guys up the front, for the most part anyway, where they have, in practice, been much faster than most of the rest of the field. So, it's certainly a good effort.
Yeah, so... Once again, not sure if the safety car coming in. Haven't been notified. Rossi's keeping an eye on proceedings at the moment, if it is. So I'm going to assume it's staying out again. It looks like Melody Smith and... Oh, Melody Smith has actually gone around behind the safety car. I was going to say that Smith and Rhodey had actually dropped off the back of the queue.
No, it's not. I thought it was in. I got baited by the safety car then, Lewis. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was posturing to the right to go in. But no, we're another lap.
Yeah, does like that wide line. And is that Teglas in the background coming into the pits? Does look like he is. Yeah, so it looks like Teglas into the pit lane. And he's
Not a
going
terrible call to get a fresh set of boots on right now, honestly. There's still going to be another lap. It's behind the safety car. You have plenty of time to catch back up. And you'll have fresh boots. Drivers in front likely to make mistakes. So you can find spots up again, I think. Plenty of time still in the race, so it's alright.
Yeah, it gives you time to use them. And these guys are going to have, after a little bit of running at least, going to have somewhere in the tyres. And he'll at least be able to get about a sector, maybe half the circuit, where he's going to be driving at race speed. So he'll be able to build up his temperature and pressures a bit by doing that. Of course, there is no tyre blankets in supercars, and that's replicated in the sim. So they're going to start off cold, but he'll be able to at least put some pressure in and build up some temp.
He's just leaving the pits now as you see the rest of the back of the field anyway out of 4, so...
I don't think he knows where the pit exit line is. There is cones there. Maybe he's just giving himself some extra time. So he's going to have to actually really hustle here. As the next car down the road, Melody Smith, is just coming out of the back chicane, and he's just coming out of the hairpin now. So he might even time this fairly well. So... we go.
Higginson seemed to be creating a bit of space to the safety car, which to me is indicative that it is in fact coming in. Right up the back.
He's left a bit too much of a gap. He maybe called to actually speed up here, which could make things a little bit awkward if it is coming in. And lights are out.
We're away.
Yep, so now Teglas, he's approaching the final sector now, so he is still going to be a little bit ways behind, but he will be not too far off the back of the pack. But here we go. Let's see if we can race to the flag here. all green. Higginson waiting to the line. He's got a penalty for something. As cars fan out behind. Higginson with the decent restart. It's all about the exit out of turn 1. He's got a better one than Hall, who's a little bit sideways, but it looks like the front 3 have fanned out fairly well. The big battle has got Warwick and Kemp with John McDonald in there, all battling it out for P5 contact. It's just a bit of an awkward one. They take an awkward line, and McDonald's gone around. I don't know if he's rolled, if that's lag, and that's...
I think he has gone around. He's rolled completely. I think there was big lag, and he got into the fence somehow, possibly just taking a wide line for what was happening on his inside. Who knows? And
thankfully, we don't have a safety car, so we've been able to avoid one here. So we're going to get at least one lap of green running. Higginson leads the way. In the front 3.
Let me tell you. Sorry, Lewis, let me tell you, it was wild at the chicane there from P7-8 backwards, and it still continues to be. Felipe in on Damo here up on the inside, coming down towards the back end of the circuit. Will he get the move done? Phil Doody in deep, also making it 3 wide down the back with Taipan and Justin Cecil. It is all on. This is an absolute gaggle of cars together.
Oh, and we've got green and black. I think that's, yeah, Justin Cecil wide there as well. So on for young and old here in the mid-pack. With who's that in the front of it? I think that's yeah, Damo leading this pack of very, very angry cars in behind. A mix of Super 2 and Super 3 runners.
That is 10 cars, Lewis, in a shot. You can throw a blanket over them. Taipan getting interested in Felipe into 1, but not quite close enough to really get anything done. Behind him, he's got Cecil sizing up a move into 2.
Oh,
shaping
here we
inside.
go.
Dooney deep again.
I think he thought he was going to run into the back of Taipan and just threw it into the wall and actually slowed him down, and thankfully we were able to avoid an incident. But now he's coming, well, he's got Lockland trying to go around the outside, and got Jaeger also there. He's trying to go the other way, so he's holding on for dear life at the moment as the cars bounce their way through the chicane once again. Higginson's still leading. To update the Super 3 class, we've got Lockland leading that class, but Leslie Teglas, he's only 1 car separating the 2 and around about a second, if that, Snipes. So all to play for in both classes, as we see now. Zach Brown making a move on Lockland. They're both wide, and that's going to bring Teglas and Rody also not too far away. So the first 3 in Super 3, very, very close as well.
Yeah, tight for Super 3 up the back here. The pack's spreading out a little bit, but there's certainly spot fires still going around. Probably none more than the battle for the 13th right now, although Taipan getting close to Damo now. Felipe managed to get past him in that last lap throughout the back sector.
Dive from Taipan up the inside of Damo, and he's now up into 8.
Very complicit from Damo, wondering whether that would be a team orders kind of play there, or whether Taipan just caught him and Damo let him have it. They are all in the same Discord together, working as part of Team Simsport.
Change of position. Darren Kemp. Oh, he's been turned! He's been half turned by Lockie Lockman. As fighting their way up to the carousel. So it just cuts a replay here. So Kemp up the inside of the hairpin. All was fair there. They left each other plenty of room. And then, yeah, I think Locke should have just got out of it. It's just a little bit awkward there. You can't really go 2 by 2, and Kemp was ahead at that point. Very awkward one. Unfortunate for Kemp. And that's cost him a couple positions. Also dropped Lockie Lock well down, and we did speak about it earlier that Warwick could have been a chance of a top 5, well, and a podium. Well, the podium right there, staring him in the face.
Not far off it now. He'll certainly be hoping that Cheese up in front make a mistake. Yeah, for P1.
Last lap, last chance saloon. Higginson very defensive. He's locked the rears at turn 1. Horse just going to go straight up the inside here, but he's gassed up the rears. And now Higginson holds onto it. So here we go. The final lap, all to play for these guys. And we've got Laszlo Teglas leading Super 3 as well. And they're all close together. The Super 3 class as well. Try and keep an eye on that on the left-hand side of the screen. But at the moment, Higginson holding on for dear life. And a little bit of contact and unsettling there from Hall coming out of the carousel. And now we go to the back chicane.
You're not going to get it done here. You need a superb run to have any chance simply through there. It's just keep it straight for Higo, and then if necessary, defend down at the back here, but he doesn't need to. What will Hall do? Will Hall run wide again? He's done it all night. No, he's kept it reasonably tucked in there. Cheese is buying right into this as well. If there's a single mistake from any of them, he could be right in there for
he's
seconds.
locked
Locked it up!
He's been able to pull up. All he's got to do here is just not make a mistake. Don't defend air and give Hall an opportunity, which he sort of has there. I think that was Cheese there glancing the wall. One last chance, the final corner. And it's going to be a drag to the line. A little bit of blocking going on as Cheese has gone around. Cheese has gone around. And Higginson will take the win. Hall will be second. And Cheese, where's he ended up? He's going to end up well down. And it's going to be a battle to the line as well for the podium. Steve Warwick, he's going to just fall short. And Lockie Lock will finish in third place ahead of Steve Warwick. Ed and Felipe went unseen there, but fantastic P5 for him. Cheese ending up in 6th position. He'll be kicking himself after that. Kemp home in 7th. Taipan in 8th. Damo in 9th. Phil getting a top 10. Justin Cecil in 11th. Brown recovering to 12th. Jaeger in 13th. Laszlo Teglas taking out the win in Super 3. Darren Lockland in 2nd. With Rhodey in 3rd place in class. Netherelmian in 17th. Melody Smith in 18th, with John McDonald coming home last and a lap down after his rollover. So, there it was. Those final few laps, absolutely breathtaking. With so many battles, unfortunately, Snipes, that we couldn't really keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, it's certainly been absolutely wild. The battles all everywhere, hard to keep track of, especially somewhere like there. Let me tell you, gutted for Cheese. I looked over just after he'd made that mistake. He had a wry smile on his face, but it could be worse. He still finished well into the top 10, but he was right there for that battle. He'll be feeling certainly a bit disappointed.
Yeah, he certainly will be. I think a lot of people have been in that boat where they've been so close from home and picking up a solid result, and then whether it be the last corner or just the last lap, you make a rookie move and end up turning the car around and losing that good result. So unfortunate, but he's still in a decent position to start from. He's not all the way at the back of the field. He's still going to start in P6 for the 3rd race of the night. So not all is lost for him. And as we've seen, he's got at least P3 pace. But another thing that we've seen, it can be quite difficult to pass. And it's very chaotic in the midfield. So that's race 2 done and dusted. And, well, if we can get a little bit of clearer running, there's no reason why we can't have that again in race number 3, Snipes.
Yeah, totally. Hoping for more clear running, obviously, to carry this 3rd race through. It'd be ideal to have a race without a safety car. Lights to flag, nothing but green flag would be ideal. Certainly more battles to come. I think the top 3, 4 might be reasonably settled. It'll be hard, I think, for people at the back end, even at the top 5, to go past Hago, Hall, the likes without a major mistake, but it's certainly still on for those for the back end of the podium down through the top 10.
Yeah, it is. There's spot fires just about everywhere, so hopefully we do get lights to flag clear race here. But hopefully it also provides some good racing, because we do know there's a little bit of field spread around, and I guess the safety car in some aspects, those Snipes, has kept it close and entertaining. But hopefully if we do get one, it's almost like a competition caution right in the middle of the race, just to spice it up and close everyone up again. But getting the points updated at the moment here. I've got the top 3 finishes in the last race having their points updated. So Ben Hall on 784 ahead of Nathan Higginson on 746 after that victory. So 38 points between our first 2 runners. Bit of a gap to Lockie Lock now. He's in 3rd, 642 points, with Darren Kemp on 582. Of course, Kemp there was battling Lockie Lock before Kemp got turned. So that could end up being a penalty and being, I guess, a post-race podium for Steve Warwick there, but you definitely want to get them on the circuit, that's for sure. But still, he'd be quite pleased that he was able to get himself so close to, well, he got himself into the top 5, but almost got himself a podium as well. Speaking of Steve Warwick, I do believe he's going to be moving up a spot or 2 as well in the standings once it's all updated. But yeah, a few minutes away from race number... Actually, no. I won't go for a break just yet. I've got the team standings, I think, will be updated from race 1 at least. So, of course, Luke McHugh Racing well out in front, 252 points ahead of HME, powered by Kiwi SimSport. That's Nathan Higginson and Taipan. APK now with the DNF or non-start there for Matt Cecil, and the incident for Darren Kemp. They're little ways behind HME now. They're on 1,060 points, but they've got quite a decisive gap over Kiwi SimSports on LLM. Juniors Academy of Justin Cecil and Ayrton Felipe, they're on 674 ahead of Kiwi SimSports. So that's the, I think, top 4 or 5 in the team's standings. Interestingly enough, our first Super 3 team is sitting fairly high up there in the team standings as well, but there is a number of single car teams that right behind them as well from Super 2. So quite interesting to see how that all plays out. But anyway, we will take a short break. The grid is being set about 2 minutes away here from race number 3. So we shall be back in a minute or 2. Don't go anywhere. Alright then, well, one of us is back. Snipe's just taking a short little breather. We've got about 20 seconds left in the final warm-up session of the night. We've had 2 races come down to the final lap with a little bit of controversy and incidents sprinkled in between as well. And I'm sure there's going to be more afoot here in race number 3. Moments away. Higginson and Hall continue to be the only victors this season, with Hall coming through from the back of the field in race number 1 to take victory ahead of Higginson, and then Higginson able to hold on for dear life in race number 2. As you see Zach Brown just driving around on the circuit at the moment. Of course, we'll tick over and you'll probably see him warp through the walls in any moment from now. Of course, in the 2004 HRT livery, albeit with a slight modification to the car, mainly being the headlights. Instead of being NGK, it's got, I think, Rody's photos on there. And he's now gone back to the pit. So we'll go back to our splash screen with the B-roll in the back. And we await not only the session to tick over, but of course Snipes to return. But here we go. There's the sirens. And we're moments away here for race 3, where hopefully they can finish like they have the last 2 races. Not so much due to safety cars, but more so battling for the lead in both classes in both races there on the final lap. So here we go. Race number 3 of what's been a controversial but certainly very entertaining night.
I am back here, Lewis, and the cars are slowly making their way onto the grid for this 3rd and final race. It'll be interesting to see how it all wraps up this evening. Certainly been a good night of racing around the streets of Hamilton. An interesting little circuit it is, and a test it has proven to be for this field. But overall, pretty good largely.
Yeah, it certainly has been, for the most part, some pretty good racing. And some better racing than what I would have actually... Sorry, better than what I thought coming in. I thought it was going to probably end up being fairly sprung out, but the safety cars have saved us a bit and brought the field closer together a couple of times when it started to get spread out. And it's led to us having some really fantastic and close finishes. But here we go. Nathan Higginson, I'll run through the grid here once again, just to give Snipes a little bit of a break here. So Higginson will start from pole position ahead of both the Luke McHugh Racing EF Commodores of Ben Hall in 2nd and Lockie Lock in 3rd place. Steve Warwick will start in position number 4, so close to a podium, couldn't quite get there in the end. Ayrton Filippi will start in P5 after a very solid run. And Cheese, he'll be looking to work his way forward. I think at every start so far he's been able to manage to nick a position or 2 on the first lap. So he'll be hoping to nick a couple and get himself back into the top 4. Darren Kemp will start P7. He's had some good pace tonight, but starting from the back in race 1 and then being caught up in an instant there in race 2 when he was in a solid position means he'll start this one in P7. Taipan will start P8. Well, HME powered by KSS. Damo will start in position 9 ahead of Phil D. Justin Cecil will start P11 ahead of Zach Brown. Another one who's had some pretty decent pacer in this circuit, just hasn't been able to showcase it in the races so far due to missing qualifying there. Luke Yeager will start from 13th ahead of race 2 Super 3 winner Laszlo Teglas. Darren Lockland, the 2nd of the Super 3 runners, will start from position 15 with Rody in P16 ahead of Netherelmian in 17th. In 18th we have Melody Smith for Yon Ujon Motorsport. John McDonald, he's got some solid pace in that thing as well, but of course had that unfortunate rollover there after being caught in an incident while running in the top 5 or 6 there. So he'll start position 19, and Matt Cecil, of course, did not start race 2 due to some game internet issues. So here we go. Drivers now forming up on to the grid. And the magic
thing here, Lewis, sorry to cut you off there. The pole sitter tonight yet to actually take the win. Lockie Lock obviously out of pole from the first race, did not win. Ben Hall started pole last race and Higginson won. Ben starting out of P2 here. Will the trend continue?
It's a Very interesting stat. Will it be broken as the revs rise and the lights illuminate? Away we go, and Ben Hall's gone nowhere. In fact, he's been rear-ended by Steve Warwick, who lost out because of that. Oh, and he's been rear-ended by Cheese, and it's knocked his teammates. So both the Luke McHugh cars are around. In fact, Ben Hall, out of all of that, didn't lose all that much time. Running into his teammate actually saved him, and he's still in second/third position. He battles Felipe and Kemp. So there you go. Luckiest man alive. Maybe not alive, but certainly in a dev series. His teammate, on the other hand, well down the field now.
Well, let me say that's given Nathan Higginson a huge leg up. He's got a second and a half, even back to Ayrton Felipe there, who's being challenged around the outside by Ben Hall at this point in time. Ben Hall not able to get the job done, goes wide, keeps his foot in it again, but Felipe maintains position. However, Ben will be here enough to challenge around the outside again.
He's going to, again, try and make a pass after keeping his foot well planted while going off the circuit. They're going to go side by side for multiple corners. He's going to get the job done here in the last corner, I'd imagine. So there you go. But all that battling and contact has given Higginson after lap 1 2.5 seconds over Ben Hall. We'll make that 2.9 seconds as we see Taipan making a move on Warwick into turn 1.
Oh, Warwick's hit the fence. He's gone a bit deep there, Taipan, in the end. Good move up the inside. Possibly scared Warwick out of turning in a little bit and gets the move done.
And we've got Darren Kemp now. Yep, he's up the inside of Felipe, as I call Jinx on Snipes. So that he's going to say the same thing. So Kemp now finally into a position where he probably should be, or should have been all night, but just bad luck has followed him everywhere. So not too far behind Ben Hall, and in a very solid position now to at least get some points back on the board. But a little bit further back, solid run so far for Taipan in P5, and same goes for Damo. He's up 3 spots into P6, and looking alright at the moment. A little bit further back though, we've got Matt Cecil trying to put Cheese under a bit of pressure. Lucky Lock just in front of them. Those guys have been at the front on light, and big look up the inside from Matt Cecil. A little bit of contact with Cheese on the exit, but Matt Cecil in a hurry. He's looking to get ahead as Cheese is wide at the final corner, but still gets a better run than Cecil. So Cecil not able to get the power down as well as what he would have liked. But we've got a 3-car battle pack here. As Phil up the inside. I think we go 3 wide into turn 1. Out of control. See you later, Phil. And we've got another.
So deep.
Have you got another car off there as well? Or is it just Phil? I don't know.
Seems to be just Phil there for me. All the way down to last from Jeepers, fighting up around that top 5 kind of position. That's a big loss there, right at the back. A long way to go to catch anyone.
And now the big battle here is right with Steve Warwick, Justin Cecil, and Luke Yeager, and Lockie Lock's also buying in as well. Got cars all over the place here.
Dangerous.
And they thought about going side by side to the chicane, but thankfully they're all smart enough to lift off and not attempt the impossible. Yeager now looking like he's the one defending. You see Cheese looking to defend from Matt Cecil in the background. And now we've got a move as well with Zach Brown looking to make a move on Lockland. Oh, we got contact in the wall. Matt Cecil.
Cecil's around.
Matt Cecil in the wall's been carnage so far. Brody almost running into the back of him. So I'll cut to a quick replay just to find out what Cecil did. Oh, he's just turned in too early, glanced the wall the wrong way. And there you go for Matt Cecil, down to 16th.
Yeah, the walls are certainly dangerous here at Hamilton. I've actually looped it out coming out of the roundabout myself before hitting the wall on the inside. It's problematic, and it's walls like that in a few different corners. We got battles going on here for P5. Taipan ranging up to the back of Felipe, got very close under brakes there before Felipe accelerated away out of turn 2. But Taipan certainly looking at trying to press forward and put a bit of pressure on the young kid battling here.
Yeah, Felipe doing a really good job at the moment in P4, and it's not really been dropped by Darren Kemp like I suspected he would here, so he's doing a really good job to hold on here. The front two are absolutely gone. Kemp's 7 seconds off the lead, 5 seconds off from Hall, and Taipan doing a good job here as Steve Warwick now battling with Damo for position 6, and Warwick coming out on top in this battle for the moment.
Battle there between Justin Cecil and Lockland. Good friends, I believe, on track there. 9th, 10th. Heard someone hit a wall. Damo, that was.
There's Damo in the wall there. And yeah, now we've got Luke Yeager. He's got an angry pack behind him here.
Covering Cheese there. He's got Justin Cecil, Lockie Lock, all quick guys behind him. Behind the two brothers there in the team for Kiwi Sim Sports Underdevelopment Squad.
And Cheese having a look up the inside. I reckon more so just to try and find a breaking point rather than to make a move. And Zach Brown also closing in on these guys. He's got decent car speed, just hasn't been able to show it all night as John McDonald holds on for dear life in the background. Justin Cecil wide. Lockie Lock wants to take advantage. And a little bit of a half spin from Justin Cecil was sort of corrected. I don't know if the spin was caused by him gassing it up or a little bit of contact, but either way, it did get saved. He's going to hold on for now. Goes side by side with Cheese, but decides to back out of it into the chicane, and that's down another spot for Justin Cecil.
Yeah, but unfortunate for Justin, was up there battling there with some reasonably quick people. Tell you what, Luke Yeager's moved forward 5 places, but he's certainly going to be under threat to hold on to a top 10 spot with some couple of quick fellas behind him that will close the gap, you'd have to fancy. Although Luke Yeager put out towards the back of the top 10 kind of time in practice, so it's not like he doesn't have the pace in him. I feel for him it's just consistency to get him to the end.
So far, doing a really good job, as is his teammate.
Taipan and Felipe here side by side into one. Taipan's possibly deep. He's absolutely way too deep. He's nailed Kemp. He's found himself in the fence. Darren Kemp won't be too happy with that one. He was just trying to turn into the corner. And Taipan, who's clearly missed a braking marker or something.
And that's a very awkward rejoin as well. It's sort of put Lockie Lock off. In fact, I'll cut to a replay just to see, first off, Lockie Lock and what he would thought. Because obviously, yeah, he had to sort of keep turning the steering wheel when he wanted to get on the power, so that cost him a little bit. But also cut to Taipan here just to have a replay on the incident. So he's going for a move on Felipe here, and yeah, way too hot. Kempy didn't seem coming. That was shades of Prema and Courtney.
The brothers have crashed! Luke Yeager and Taipan, I think they've crashed. It may have actually just been one of them with contact in the wall, but one of them's gone around at the hairpin. They were battling closely together, heading up towards it, and one's around the wrong way. Terrible redraw. Oh dear. That is not what you want to see there for rejoining the track.
It is awkward. I do wonder if there was some drivers not slowing down despite there being a clear car in distress ahead. So just right on board Phil here. He picked a side and it's a bit of an awkward one. We'll probably see a penalty, but yeah, certainly not ideal.
Now, Lewis, quickly, I'm going to direct you towards the front where it is closing up.
Also got Lockie Lock's gone around at turn 1, and we got a safety car.
Bummer. Well, that's going to close it all right up. Let me tell you, from going back towards P15, 16, there's been a big recovery from Cheese. What have you got, Lewis?
So on the replay, Zach Brown looking to make a move on Justin Cecil. He's done exactly what Taipan did the lap earlier. Not as dramatic or as hard, but this time, instead of getting the front of the car, he got the rear, and that's what caused Lockie Lock to go around and possibly the safety car. are all
Another
happening.
few laps behind it now. It'll the drivers will get the chance to cool their jets before, you know, one final push towards the checkered flag final time this evening. Bit of time to sort themselves out for Damo. It's a blessing after that massive shunt
He is in the
down after the
pits.
chicane.
He is in the pits, but unfortunately he's been
Oh, he's a lap
lapped.
down. Not so much of a blessing now. That's basically resigned him to last place for the evening.
He did, of course, have a puncture, I think, as well. So that would be why he's had to come into the pits. He wouldn't have been able to lap behind the safety car. And Melody Smith as well got significant front end damage on her car. And that's a front left puncture if I've ever seen one. Otherwise, it's I don't know how you lock up the weighted. Yeah, that's definite puncture on the front left on car 44. And yeah, we've now got a couple laps to sort ourselves out, get a bit of composure, and figure out the order. So I might as well just run through it here. So Higginson's still holding on. He had built up, or held on to about a 2-second lead, but Hall did start to chip away at it before, of course, right before the safety car, Snipes did bring up the fact that Hall had pretty much closed that gap down to about half a second or less. It sounds like someone else has entered the pits there. Hopefully it's Melody Smith. But yeah, front two were well out in front. Kemp avoiding what in real life would have been a front end rebuild by it being a game and the damage model and damage percentage being turned down. And Ayrton Filippi has had a really good run so far in P4, but he's got to do it all again now. He's got cars behind him that will be looking to make moves. Steve Warwick, another one, he'll be looking to try and steal a podium. And then Luke Gager at P6. Not sure if he was one of the instigators of that backstretch incident with Damo. And Taipan P7, Cheese in P8. Zach Brown in P9, but he may be, of course, getting a post-race penalty due to that contact with Lucky Lock with Justin Cecil in 10th. John McDonald back up to 11th place, and the blessing for him, this safety car. So he hasn't exactly been slow in this one either, so look for him on the restart. Lucky Lock, the night started well for him in the pole position, but the racing hasn't been quite as kind, and this third race in particular has been quite cruel. Certainly copped the bad end of the stick multiple times so far. Lockland leading the way in Super 3, with Cecil in 14th behind him, with Rhodey second place in Super 3, not too far behind his leader in class. And Phil D still going on out there, fortunately caught up in the backstretch incident. Laszlo Teklas in 17th, now the Relmian in 18th. Doesn't seem to be driving all that hard out there. Not bothered by trying to catch the safety car at all. And then Damo in 19th ahead of Melody Smith, who of course did have to pit with some front end damage, and that car at the front looks brand new, so clearly she's been into pits to repair her car. So now, Snipes, we wait for the safety car to peel in, and for us to get these final few laps back underway.
Yeah, we certainly hope that this lap is going to be the lap that it does peel in. Ego's giving the safety car a bit of space again, a similar thing to what he did earlier on when its lights did go off. So let's hope for it again. I'm expecting this to be the restart lap. It's going to bang.
Lights out.
The lights are off. This will be it. Paul will close up behind Higo. 4 laps to go. Let's hope that it stays green. We're on for a sprint.
And Netherelmian slowly getting to the back of the field, but he's in no hurry to get onto the back of it. But here we go. A little bit of a gap between Kemp and Hall there.
Higo waiting till the line again.
Here we go. And Filippi looks like he's having a look at Kemp, and Kemp sort of defending. He's gone deep and may have made a light brush with Hall, but live to fight another day. So far, Looks like everyone's lived at turn 1. They're going to turn 2. Kemp up the inside of Hall here. Oh, there's Higginson right out sideways. That's not ideal. And now we're going to go 2 by 2. It hasn't worked in the past with some other runners. And Higginson holding on for dear life.
Man, all you need, however, is a reasonable run out of the roundabout there to maintain position. Very hard to make a move before this chicane here. You need to be right in front, or else it's just not going to be your corner. Higginson maintains the lead, and then we'll have to go defensive down to the back. Ben Hall around the outside again. Ooh, they're holding on to adjust.
And it was a bit awkward. We've seen Hall try and take advantage of the tarmac on the outside there. He knew he probably couldn't just directly pass Higginson by going flat over it. So sort of backed out of it a little bit. So Higginson able to breathe a little bit. Kemp's dropped off the back of these guys. And he's now holding off a hard charging Steve Warwick, who... Oh, he's got a car in the fence there in the background that we heard, didn't see. But Steve Warwick now, the man looking to try and get himself a podium instead of Kemp looking to get himself up into second.
Yeah, the only person that is in his way is probably the worst person to be in your way in that scenario. Darren Kemp, a notable defender. You know that he's never going to give you the inside line. You have to be very, very crafty to get a move done.
Oh, we've got Luke Yeager has gone wide in the, or had a big slide in the background. So something's happened down there, whether on his own or he's been helped, I'm not sure. But spot fires everywhere.
A number of positions out of that, so perhaps some contact, perhaps someone going wide, not 100% sure. Now it's 3 wide down towards the roundabout at the back with Cheese, Lock and John McDonald down for battling for P9, going hard back here.
They certainly are. The front 2 have bolted. And is that a mistake from Kemp? Warwick's going to try and go around the outside.
Done, I think.
He's done it.
Sure is.
Steve Warwick's done it. Around the outside, got the better run through the chicane. A little bit further ahead, side by side for the lead. You did see this in reverse. I can't remember if it was race 1 or 2. There's contact between the two. Both, again, so lucky that they've been able to pull it up. There's a car in the wall back, 2 cars in the wall back there.
And in Taipan, just struggling to get it pulled up at turn 11 there. She's a little bit tough. It's a real tricky one, and drivers all night struggling to have Justin Cecil wide out the last corner.
And the leader, Higginson, chalk to chalk, defending, hugging that inside line. Hall's going to try and do the old over and under.
Not going to have enough speed though to get a proper inside run up. I think Higginson's going to go defensive, and yeah, he's seen it coming. So now forces Hall to the outside. It narrows a bit here. It can be a little bit tricky. And Hall trying to over-under him, but he's probably not going to get enough overlap to really do anything.
Yeah, it wasn't able to use as much momentum as what he would have liked. He's a little bit wide on the turn in as well through the roundabout. So you see Warwick wide in the background. And Ben Hall's disappeared! And he's disappeared, and we've also had Carr, he's back. Taipan's off in the background, facing the wrong way. So he's going down the field. So that certainly would have been a little bit off-putting for both those runners. Got Steve Warwick wide in the background. Kemp's going to try and get the move done. And Warwick defends. But the track opens up. Kemp up the inside. He's made contact. It's going to open the door to Felipe here. We've got Zach Brown, who's running well. He's wide as well. Awkward rejoin for him. That's another position for Lock. We've got Warwick in the wall again. As we cut again back to the lead. We're about to start the final lap. It is all to play for.
Certainly, it's been hammer and tong between these two all night. Well, the moment they've got together, they've basically stuck together. The battling, well, Rubbin has certainly been racing tonight. Rubbin and ramming down into heavy braking zones. Let's see if they can keep it clean through this last lap. Hego with the upper hand.
And just that, not all the way to the wall on the outside. So the most ideal line is Hall just lights it up. He's overdriving that thing at the moment. So Higginson, all he's got to do really is just not make a mistake, and he should win this race. Behind him though, Steve Warwick holding on for dear life. The 2 old-timers in the field, Warwick and Kemp, battling for the final spot on the rostrum.
Truly is on for young and old here. We've got 2 basically teenagers out for the lead. And we got a couple of gentlemen in their older years. In fact, Darren Kemp's made a mistake at the chicane. He's lost a bunch of positions. He's down to P8. What has happened there? I do not know. I've missed it.
Let's cut to the replay. We'll cut to a replay. So he's come in. Oh, he's mucked up the first one. It's mucked up his line throughout it. And then when he went over the curb at the last part, it just sent him around. He'll pick up some points, but certainly not ideal. At the front, though, Higginson's been able to stretch away. Hall's been in the fence. He's lucky it's not a real car, because that would have been a DNF, that's for sure. So Higginson will take races 2 and 3. Hall will finish second in races 2 and 3. And Steve Warwick will grab a podium.
Well
and
done,
he was
Steve.
just short of in race 2, but gets a well-deserved one here in race 3. He finishes in front of an impressive Felipe tonight. Not the fastest, but certainly one of the more consistent drivers out there. Lucky Lock in P5, bashing his car against the wall. That race certainly didn't go to plan. He was very unlucky out there. His teammate got wiped out and had a half spin. He was going to get completely TKO'd and then ran into his teammate Lock. And Lock went around, and Hall ended up not really losing any time out of it. So, and that pretty much started a chain of events that would see Lock probably not finish where he should have. Zach Brown home in P6. That could have been better. Mistake with a couple laps to go in Sector 3. Cost him cheese as well. Another one in Race 3 that a little bit unlucky. Home in P7. Justin Cecil in 8th. You see Lucky Lock there on his roof. Luke Yeager home in P9. He was running well for the majority of the race, but yeah, some issues costing him there. Darren Kemp home in 10th after that final lap issue at the chicane while battling for the podium. Matt Cecil home in 11th, so not ideal for APK Simsport. Darren Lockland home. I'm pretty sure that's a clean... Oh, no, it's not a clean sweep, but he takes races 1 and 3 in the Super 3 class ahead of Rhodey in 13th. Not a bad result for the two Super 3 runners there. 13th, well, 12th and 13th. Phil D home in 14th. Teglas home in 15th. Taipan in 16th. You did see him around on the final lap. Nether Elmian home in 17th. John McDonald. Did say look out for him on the safety car restart, but he must have been caught up in something to end up down in 18th. And Melody Smith in 19th with Damo down there in 20th, but still went out there and finished, which is good to see, even though he did obviously have to come into pit and was a lap down. So there we go. 3 races tonight, Snipes, and they've all been down to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. A great side note there, Lewis. For all the development drivers and younger drivers out there that's getting going, when you do have a bad race or a crash, something like that, you find yourself dead last. It's still important, still super important, just to get around, finish the race, and lock up some points. That these sort of series are about attrition, and getting points over DNFing is always favourable. So even if it hasn't gone your way, it's good to see all of our drivers finishing.
Yeah, sometimes you can look back and say, okay, you've had a poor race, but at the end of the season you can go, well, at least I went out there and you might not have got the results you've wanted throughout the year, but you went out there and provided you didn't have an internet disconnect, you finished every race that you started that you could have. That can be like, I certainly rate drivers a bit higher, those that just go out there, and even when things aren't going their way, they might be having an absolutely shocking night, but they still plug away and continue to have a crack and bring home a finish, even though it might be down there in the 20s after a bit of contact or some bad luck. So may have been unlucky for some drivers out there, but to see them keep plugging away even when there wasn't really much to play for is a good thing to see. But at least for me right now, Snipes, that is it. So it's on to you for our interviews for this evening.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much, Lewis. I just want to say to all of you up here right now, firstly, a fantastic effort overall. I'm going to start with Ben Hall. Ben, starting P16 out of race 1, you had it all to do in front of you. You had a pretty good start. You found something like 8 positions by the first corner, a really good effort there. And then ended up coming across the line in P1. to keep yourself realistically at the front of the field for the rest of the evening. Excuse me. Um, when you're lining up in P16 there, what kind of was going through your head? What was your game plan for the evening? And how did you want to attack the night, basically?
Well, starting P16 and starting, basically right down the end of the field. My game plan was, to kind of sit back, let all the crashes and all that happen in front of me, and just try and gain positions that way. But that went out the window. Got a really good start. So that plan went out the window, and good start, and off I went. Passed as many cars as I could. Then the safety car came out, and that really did help me. And then I was just kind of picking him off one by one, and found myself first at the last lap. So good way to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's been a ding dong battle with Nathan Higginson for most of the championship, let alone the evening. But the evening, nevertheless, tonight was certainly a bit more ding dong than, let's say, it has been recently. You're finding it a bit bumpy out there, you guys, or is it just like hard racing?
Oh, look, I'm going to put it down to hard racing. I don't think either of us did anything wrong. I think it was just hard racing, and I mean, we didn't lose any positions out of it, so I can't see anything wrong there. But that's not up to me to decide. So whatever happens, happens, and if one of us gets a penalty, then that's the way it is. But no, look, it's just good hard racing, and Higo's definitely one of the best drivers with his clean, he's fair, everything like that. So yeah, he's fantastic to race with. So shout out to him, and congrats on your 2 wins, man.
Oh, great stuff. Finally, Ben, your team is doing really, really well here. Luke McHugh Racing, going hard with both your drivers sitting well and truly in the top 5 in your drivers' standings. I think you might even be first and third. There you go in the drivers' standings. What's the team environment like going there? Have you guys working well together?
Yeah, I mean, like we've got a good dynamic together. We work really well, and we work well with the engineers, just trying to get the car in a good place. So we work well together, and on track we work well as well. So yeah, good team dynamic, and the team's really happy and everything like that. So just trying to do the best for the team, and yeah, just trying to do the best for Luke, as you guys know. And yeah.
I got one more for you, Ben. On track, at least in race 1, I saw a little bit of niggle between yourself and Lockie, kind of jostling for position a bit. Is there any kind of thought of team orders there, or are you guys just figure it out on circuit? Wherever we be, we'll be.
Oh, look, you're always going to have those team orders in the back of your mind. But no, look, there was no team orders used. I just got past Lockie fair and square, so no team orders used, and we still came away with the 1-3. So it's a good way to start the night. It's a good way to end the night. 2 1-3s for the team, I'm pretty sure. So and I also want to say happy birthday to Lockie's dad. So happy birthday to him. And yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, Ben. Congratulations on your evening of racing, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, boys.
Cool. We're going to go straight over to the other half of Luke McHugh Racing here. Lockie Lock, firstly, your first pole position, I believe it was tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks. It was a special one. I lost my father in 2020, and today's his birthday. He would have been 50 today, so that's a very special pole for me.
Condolences to you there, Lockie, and well done for pulling out a performance like that on a night like tonight. And speaking of, you have pulled out a very good performance tonight, and more than just qualifying. The race win may have eluded you, but you are there. You find yourself there or thereabouts almost every race at this point in time. Can you tell us how it's all running for you right now?
Yeah, I think those last 2 races I could have been a lot better. The incident with Kempy, I had frame rate issues up until that point, and every time he got close, it was just stuttering. So that one I'll probably cop a penalty for, but I think I'm pretty consistent. I'm pretty happy where I am at the moment. Obviously, I haven't got the pace to battle Higo and Ben, but I'm pretty comfortable with where we are now, and to get on the podium a couple of times is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you do find yourself in P3, 100 and 30-ish points behind. Sorry, 100. About 130 points behind Nathan Higginson. Do you have a battle plan as to how you'll be able to take the fight to him, or are you just gonna kind of see where the chips fall and just do your best to continue getting good results?
I'm just going to put my foot down.
That's a good plan there, Lockie. Hey, congratulations on tonight, mate. Congratulations on your first poll again. A really good effort.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go grab Steve Warwick here to have a quick chat too. Now, Steve, a bit of a up and down evening, but in the end, you ended up finishing right on that podium. You were there or thereabouts for a couple of races, having to work your way forwards, but probably from a less favourable qualifying position. Can you tell us how it worked out your end?
I had fun as usual. I mean, that's mainly what I do it for, is just to have fun. But to tell you what, these three boys, hats off to them. They're super fast, and I turned a lot of laps all week in practice and that to try and get my times down, and couldn't quite do it. But I was pretty much on the pace there in the last two races. The car was getting quicker. The track was coming to me a little bit, I felt, and yeah, it's an interesting little track, very hard, easy to have accidents. Of those, but no, I actually had a ball, and I'm getting there. I'm catching up. I'm starting to catch up to these guys, and hopefully I'll be up there with them next time.
No doubt, Steve. You are starting to find yourself at the front of the field more often. Watching you develop as a driver through the seasons has been good. Now seeing you right up the front, you are really not that far away from P5 in the championship. Do you have any championship aspirations? Really, is there any goals you've got in mind for finishing by the end of the season, or are you just one step at a time? Let's see how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Let's see how the cookie crumbles. I mean, nice to finish as high as I can. That's probably just the goal. Finish as high as I can, and just try and get really consistent. That's what I really want to do. I think a lot of the time when I find myself, when the chips are sort of down and something goes wrong, I fight back that little bit harder during the race. So I find myself get knocked to the back, and then I fight my way through, and I have a lot of fun doing that. Well, even though I don't like being back there, I do have a lot of fun coming forward.
Absolutely, Steve. Well, the progress is plain to see. I continue to look forward to watching you push towards that top 5 in Super 2 this year. I think, of Dev Series, I think that's a goal that's very achievable at current pace. Congratulations again, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and congrats again to the other three boys. Awesome.
All right, and finally, the man, the myth, the legend, Nathan Higginson. Nathan, you're racking up race wins at this point in time. A year ago, this would have been a bit of a dream. How are you feeling?
Well, realistically, it's probably the pace that I should have, had back then. But honestly, I couldn't tell you why. It's this year that's just brought the pace forward, and I can't thank Kiwis enough for obviously unlocking a door that's opened up a whole heap of pace that I didn't know I had.
Yeah, you heard it here first. It's all the Kiwis. That's the reason he's winning races. Now, Higo, you had a few big battles here with Ben tonight. It's certainly on for young and old. You guys were a bit bumpy. How were you feeling in the cockpit there?
Well, I was feeling quite flustered. I will admit that. When that LLM car comes up behind you, it's something else. You've got to drive by the seat of your pants to really keep them at bay. Ben's pace is immense. We've seen that in qualifying. We've seen that in practice. It's unfortunate that he couldn't qualify tonight, because I think it would have been a really good battle up front in the first race. But even then, for him to come through the field from 16th to 1st in one race, that's alien.
Certainly some improvement coming out, and certainly asking the Super 2 field once again to step up their game. Nathan, heading into Winton, a very different track again from the one we raced tonight. Slow and technical. How do you feel? Going into that circuit?
I feel like I'm feeling like a win probably isn't on the cards at Winton. Winton has always been somewhat of a weak track for me. The results have always been a little bit mediocre going into Winton. I'm just hoping that I can carry the pace that I've had in the first couple of races. Like, I know that, I had pace at AP, I had pace at Symmons, and the win at Symmons, and I think tonight has probably backed up that the win at Symmons wasn't a fluke. I'm hoping I can just carry the pace that I've found this year into Winton and, turn around the stigma of it being a weak track for me.
Well, that's certainly a good way to attack it. You certainly want to go in positive, looking forward to unlocking perhaps what was once a weakness. There we go. Congratulations again, Nathan Higginson, on a great
Thank you.
work tonight. You've won the round with tonight's efforts, as I'm sure you're very aware. And you all heard it here first. He's only fast because of the Kiwis. And with that, I'm going to swing that back to you, Lewis.
All right, well, there it is. There's the interviews done and dusted. A night of fantastic racing up and down the field has concluded. I won't just go through the driver and team standings, even though I know they've been updated via Rossi, because, of course, there will, I'm sure, be some minor changes due to penalties and such. But what I can do is bring up the schedule for the rest of the season, the ASR Development Series. And of course, this does have to be slightly updated. We have had to make some changes to, I think, to the Sandown round that is taking place, I believe, at a different point in time that is on your screen. So just bear with me one moment. But of course, the next round, which was alluded to at Winton, ASR/AMSLs hasn't raced there in supercars for a season or two. So it's going to be interesting to see how a number of drivers who haven't raced a supercar in anger around there do perform around the tight and twisty Victorian circuit. And that one is one that I think Snipes will see a bit of field spread for sure. The good racing may not see it there, but it should be intriguing to see how that plays out. And then, of course, we do have Barbagallo after that one, and that's another one that's going to be very interesting, with really the first 5-6 rounds of the championship being vastly different circuits before we start heading back to circuits like Townsville, which you could sort of draw a line to being similar to Hamilton crossed with Albert Park. But there we are with the next few rounds of the ASR Supercars and Development Series calendar. Nathan Higginson, Ben Hall, our Super 2 winners tonight, with Darren Lockland and Laszlo Teglas taking out victories in the Super 3 class. So from myself, Lewis Wedding, and from my co-commentator NZ Snipes, aka Kane Gray, thank you for tuning in for tonight's broadcast, and we'll catch you in 3 weeks' time from Winton. Don't miss out.
Boo Mickey.